Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. Yeah, no. How about this? Remember the 5th of November, Marty, Biff Tannen, and Doc. That's more along my speed. So, folks, welcome to Good Morning Pop Culture. We are live. It is 7:46 a.m. on this lovely November 5th, 2018 morning. So, you're probably wondering why this isn't on the Good Morning Pop Culture channel. We all subscribed, we hit the goal numbers, but the channel still couldn't be monetized for one reason. It didn't have enough viewing hours. So instead of shooting myself in the foot and taking Good Morning Pop Culture off of this channel where it couldn't be monetized, I decided to do this. I have a nice, happy medium for the interim. So here's how this is going to work for the time being. If you're one of the people out there who listen to Good Morning Pop Culture on the streaming service like iTunes, Podbean, or Stitcher Radio, nothing changes. If you listen to it on this channel every morning, nothing changes. What we're going to do in the meantime, until Good Morning Pop Culture can be properly monetized, is once this show goes off the air, it goes off of this channel. It will be archived on the Good Morning Pop Culture channel until that channel becomes fully monetized and we can go and move forward with the show. Now, for those out there who are wanting the short, regular videos, well, guess what? The next one is done, edited, completed, rendered, and ready to go. So be on the lookout for that. All I do is ask that you watch it, give it a thumbs up, and share it because we can get those numbers up. We're back on that upward swing. So let's keep the momentum flowing with YouTube. So now everyone knows the situation with Good Morning Pop Culture. The show's not going to go anywhere. The more I think about it, the more this show, I find out how important it is to a lot of people. Hell, it's very important to me as well. So I don't want to take away people's time to get away from work while you're working and lurking. You need Good Morning Pop Culture to get through your day. And today's show is a very, very stacked, stuffed, fully loaded show. LSU, Jeremy, thank you very much for your super chat. Star Wars has violence? No! Now, wait a minute, LSU fan Jeremy. No! Star Wars has violence. I find it funny when people say Star Wars was only for kids when it came out because Star Wars had amputations, decapitations, killing of small, cute woodland creatures. There was a lot going on with the Star Wars universe way back in the day. I guess it stems from the whole era of kids' movies were more violent back then than they are today because people are pussies today. Let's just be honest. Oh, my kids saw this or that. Yeah, well, Disney was sneaking in boobies in your movies. Could you get over that? No. Don't worry. We're going to be talking about the Disneyfication in a moment. I actually have quite a bit to discuss because it always seems like I'm very anti-Disney. Oh, Jeff, don't you like fun? Don't you like Buzz Lightyear and all that happy horse shit? I do. I love fun. I used to love Buzz Lightyear, and I do enjoy happy horse shit because it scares Dion. But what I don't enjoy is watching good things be sanitized in the name of Disneyfication, so parents can just put their kids in front of something, or they can blindly drop their kids off at the movie theater and know that little Timmy and Tanya aren't going to learn some bad words. But artistic integrity dies when Disneyfication rises, and we're going to be talking about that a little more in a moment. But LSU fan Jeremy, there's all kinds of stuff in Star Wars that's been graphic, and you know what? It just goes to show that Star Wars has always been a fantasy for everybody, like a dark fairy tale in many ways. Because if you read the old fairy tales, the grim ones, they're not the Disney fairy tales. They don't always end up with the prince and ride off into the sunset and the evil stepmother gets something and dies. No. Sometimes these people just die horrible deaths or are burned alive or something. They're really harsh, dark parables, and they're trying to say something else. And Disney came in and cleaned it up and made it all this happy horse shit. So that is the case with Disneyfication for now, but we're going to go into it deeper. It does have war in the title. I don't know what people think of when they hear war. I usually think of the phrase war is hell or then the movie Star Wars. It's a war in the stars, it's a battle about a militant rebel force taking down an evil, corrupt empire who's led by a Grand Moff who just isn't that grand or dandy. But it's always been implied. I mean, Do me a favor, folks. Press 1 if you know of any other franchise that comes with an action figure whose hand is intentionally removable. I mean, Star Wars is so not just for kids that when they make this merchandise, Luke Skywalker has a removable magnetic hand, so you can simulate his hand being chopped off by Darth Vader. That's not a joke. That's not me trying to be funny. Go back. There are multiple versions of Luke Skywalker toys, one from the 90s, one from 2002, that have a removable hand and battle damage and all this other shit. Believe me, if there's Ponda Baba, you can remove his arm. You can do all of these things. There's Darth Vader with the removable helmet and the scars and the missing hand and all this stuff. It sounds brutal, but the way it's presented isn't brutal. If I had a child that was like 5, I would show him Star Wars. Why 5? Why do you ask? Well, I want the kid to be able to sit down and watch it and enjoy it, because that would be stupid to show it to a baby who's just going to stare at the screen, because there's exposition and build. But this is why I do not enjoy the Disneyfication of the world. It also is like McDonald's, the homogenization of all of these things. I'm looking at the chat right now. A lot of people are agreeing there's certain levels of gore you could show a kid. I'm with you. I'm not going to show a kid Scanners, but I'm not afraid to show a kid a James Bond movie. If they can sit through the movie and be entertained, well, then I think the movie served its purpose. I'll never forget when I was a kid, I went to my uncle's house to be babysat. And they're like, let's watch a movie. And my cousins, all they want to do is watch Annie. Annie. These girls are like 2 years younger than I am, 2 to 3 or 4 years younger than I am. So it's not like they were super, super young. And they're like, you can bring over a movie too. I'm like, okay. So I brought over GoldenEye. And because GoldenEye had James Bond and Natalia on the beach laying down together, it was too sexy of a movie, and we weren't allowed to watch it. That's the type of bullshit I had to deal with as a kid at other people's house. Well, just at their house. Because at my aunt's house, my cool Aunt Pat, that's where I saw all these horror flicks, and the first time I saw boobs in a movie and stuff like that, it was, it was cool. You're 7 or 8 years old and HBO's on them. Boom. But there is a certain level, and I think if you're too afraid to keep kids from if you're too strict with kids not seeing anything, eventually when they get old enough, they're just going to go crazy and watch all this messed up shit. Not always, but if you're denied something this whole time, you're eventually going to want to be going and seeing what you've been denied. Yes, Scarface is a fantastic film. We are so close to our 200 viewers for the morning, folks. Only 24 more to go, and then we'll start. I'm very prepared for this morning's show. I'm actually really, really excited. I spent all day yesterday pumping up getting this video out, getting it ready. I'm a day ahead. After we go off the air here, I'll edit this, put it on the archive channel, and then get the next video prepared. And then I got to work on some comic book pages, so I'm excited to do that too. And we're getting closer and closer to the holidays. So one more piece of business. So like I said, folks, for those who missed it, Good Morning Pop Culture will eventually go to its own channel. It's currently not monetized, so I can't really take that hit. So all the old episodes, instead of sitting here, you'll just go there. So if you're subscribed, the episodes will still pop up in your feed in a little bit, and you can check those out and not miss a beat. So it's the best of both worlds for everyone involved, and everyone is a winner that way. Don't worry about Star Wars 1313 too much. I talk about that in today's video. So make sure you just are aware of that. But this week, on Saturday night, we're going to be doing our veteran stream. So I've been in contact with quite a few of our listeners who are veterans. If you're our friend Salvador, who I believe was one of the people who was here at the beginning for the concept, please make sure that you contact me so I can shoot you an email with the Google Hangouts address, and we can all get together and shoot the shit and have a lot of fun. And like I told you guys, I want to be doing more fan stuff the closer and closer we get to the end of the year. And the 1st of December is going to be our all-day Star Wars stream. So for those out there who enjoyed the Halloween stream but don't necessarily like horror films, we're going to be doing that again For 12 hours straight, we're going to do nothing but watch Star Wars movies. We're going to start with episode 1, work our way through Return of the Jedi, and we're going to have guests on. So if you're a patron and you'd like to join us for the Star Wars hangout, you can hang out for one movie, and then we're going to move on to the next person. But we're going to make that happen. So, we had a super chat from our friend Andres Takas. A small contribution to show my appreciation for how Good Morning Pop Culture is always there to help me through the last few hours of work. Ooh, the last few hours of work. Oh, man. I bet a lot of people that are listening to that message right now, Andres, are very jealous because they're just starting their day. It's 7:56 in the a.m. here in the Eastern time zone, which we went back an hour. So that was nice. I woke up yesterday early. I'm like, I feel great. Oh, wait, the clocks went back. And so when I got to about 5 o'clock, I was just starting to slow down. And nope, there was still plenty of time left in the day. But thank you for your support. I'm glad you appreciate us being here. We had somebody reach out and send an email the other day talking about how the show helps them out. And I was like, that makes me feel really good about this whole thing. So thank you very much for helping out the channel. We greatly appreciate that. And we're going to be here to continue to entertain you guys. The game session I did this weekend was not a one-time thing. It was successful. So if you're wondering what I mean, I got Red Dead Redemption at the request of a lot of people here on Good Morning Pop Culture. I picked it up. I played it. And we can do that kind of stuff. Now, those will not be every night because I have to work on the comic and make videos. Believe me, if I could make $20,000 a month playing video games, I'd be playing video games. It's all I'd do. I'd be a Twitch streamer. What a great job. But alas, I have to write and edit and do all kinds of videos. So I'm not bitching. I'm not complaining. But that was just a nice little fun break. And if you guys like that, just show up. Let me know. Watch it live with me. Hang out. And we can make it happen. Tim Riggs, thank you very much. Good morning, pop culture. Well, thank you very much, Tim Riggs. It is a good morning for some pop culture. And we are only, we are 2 people away. Now we're 4 people away. We're getting ready to start the show. So there we go. So LSU fan Jeremy, thank you very much, my friend. Rather than talk radio, no commercials yet. Well, it's funny you bring it up, LSU fan Jeremy, because we do have to mention 2 people, our sponsors. And by the way, folks, if you're an artist, a creative person, somebody with a product that wants to get it out there, contact us at the email address, worldclassbs@mail.com, because that is how these people, like many other people on our videos, get their names in front of them. So this episode is brought to you by T. Allen Diaz's The Lunatic City series. Take a walk on the dark side of the moon with the first installment of this gritty sci-fi noir for just 99 cents. It's also being brought to you by the Galaxy Ascendant series by Yakov Merkin. So if you're fed up with the galaxy far, far away, take a walk in the Galaxy Ascendant. Both of those links are in the description below. So if you guys need some new entertainment while you're waiting for Stealing Solo, I strongly suggest those 2 titles. They're a lot of fun, and you're helping support independent art. You're supporting independent creators, and it goes a long way. So now it's time to start the show. So let's see. Let's talk about the big thing tonight. This morning. Tonight. I wish it was night. Star Wars, The Clone Wars, was canceled because it was getting really graphic. Now, when I first heard this news, I almost spit out my water. I laughed. Star Wars, really graphic? I mean, do we want them to be whistling zippity-doo-dah out their assholes or something? Is that the level that Disney is comfortable with being at? Well, let's find out. So Star Wars The Clone Wars was canceled following Disney's 2012 acquisition of Lucasfilm because the fan-favorite animated series was getting too graphic, says Boba Fett voice actor Daniel Logan. Disney, they canceled it. I think it was getting a little too graphic. Actually, it was getting really graphic, Logan said at the London Comic-Con. Boba was doing something really, really cool. He started actually becoming a bounty hunter. Logan, who portrayed a young Boba Fett in Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones before reprising his role in the animated series, added, "At this time, it was just too graphic, I think, for what Disney was used to." We'd actually recorded 7 episodes, and that didn't get aired, Logan said, pointing to an unfinished episode that would have pitted Fett against Cad Bane. There were so many episodes that were coming up, and Boba was going to do some really cool stuff. Before the plug was pulled, the series looked to continue Fett's development to the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy, a disappointing loss for Logan. I don't cry, but I started tearing up when I saw some of the episodes, what I was doing. He said, "We actually recorded them. Yes, that's all that's left. They might come back. You never know." When announcing the cancellation of Clone Wars in 2013, Lucasfilm said the decision was made to pursue a new direction in animated programming. Star Wars Resistance, anyone? When the streaming rights for the series was acquired by Netflix, Vice President Content Acquisition Sean Carey pointed out the series has really aged over the years and went to darker places and didn't fit with the Cartoon Network brand any longer. Disney would later launch a more kid-friendly Star Wars Rebels before resurrecting the Clone Wars, announcing the revival of to much fanfare at San Diego Comic-Con in July. It comes back in 2019. Too graphic. You see, it's stupid stuff like that pisses me off. Too graphic for what Disney was used to. Folks, Disney has had some gnarly shit in their past. See, Disney, now I might piss somebody off when I say this, but Disney is the worst type of company because it's like those people that have done terrible, repugnant shit throughout their lives. Then they repent and then they want to preach to you about being a better person. Disney had some racist bullshit in their cartoons. Songs of the South, anyone? Look at all the crap they had back in the day. And you would say, Jeff, that was commonplace back then. That was normal. You should understand. And I do. I don't hold Disney accountable for being what was current back in the day. My problem with stuff like this is that they act like it never happened and that they've always been this great, perfect, ideologically sound, crisp, clean company. And that's not the case. Disney has a dark past and a dark history. I don't want to watch Disney fail because of the things they did in the past. It's what they represent in the future that I don't like. Because they think they can always control the narrative. We've never done this. We've never done that. Disneyland is the happiest place on earth. No, Disneyland is the fakest place on earth. Well, according to an author, he says it's the most realistic place on earth, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But too graphic for what Disney was used to. I remember seeing some scary shit in Disney movies as a kid. I also saw boobs and The Rescuers. So I don't know how some Star Wars CGI violence is really going to set the show over the edge, because I never once heard Cartoon Network saying it was too graphic and violent and that the sponsors were uncomfortable. First off, the show is on Friday nights at 9 o'clock. People always want to say just because something is animated that it's for kids. Well, you can use the examples like The Simpsons or King of the Hill or Family Guy. Those are definitely not kid animated shows. And Star Wars was Clone Wars. But it was also one of those rare examples that it was a crossover show. So first off, Tim Riggs, thank you very much. Really? Too graphic? Maybe don't buy an IP with the word wars in the title, you effing jackasses. Tim Riggs, I love your anger. Because I've met you and I've heard your voice, I can just hear you screaming this in your own words. See, they bought the IP because they wanted to mine it. They saw it as an evergreen property, but now they fucked it up. And don't worry, we will be talking about how they fucked it up momentarily. I find it hilarious that they have made these mistakes so fast. I've made this joke before and I'll make it again. There's an old Star Wars video game called Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. And when you complete the lap in a great time, it goes, it's a new lap record. Every time Disney puts their foot in their mouth with Star Wars, Lucasfilm messes up. I just hear the words, it's a new lap record in my mind, because they're messing this up in record time. I've never watched an IP shit the bed so fast. Now with Avatar, which is a dead IP in my opinion, it came, it got huge, and then it disappeared, and people have forgotten about it. The MCU has taken over that place as the #1 franchise of all time. But Avatar slowly went away. Star Wars, it's like they bought it. It took 3 years to get the movie out, and then it's been a straight decline. I've never seen it's straight, basically like a vertical line down to the bottom, and it's crashed through the floor, and now we're at Solo, and we're just keep going down. It's a trajectory path that no one saw coming. Michael Rodriguez, thank you very much for your super chat. Boba Fett has been cut by Disney at every turn. He really has. Again, Michael and everyone out there, make sure you check out today's video. It's about Boba Fett, and it's everything you need to know about the canceled movie. And, it's a little more of an in-depth look. It's one of our longer videos like you guys like. So believe me, I listen to everything everyone says, and I've been changing the videos. Somebody mentioned, oh God, Heavy Metal 2000. Just General Kenobi. Sorry, I just thought of that movie and how much I hated it, but I owned it on DVD for some reason. Star Wars, the Clone Wars too graphic? Oh, I don't think so. Well, General Kenobi, when you have the high ground and, you cut off your brother's arms and legs and he catches on fire, nothing is too graphic for you, my friend. But, I may have missed the last, season or so of Clone Wars because I was busy with life, but I never did find the show to be graphic at all. It had some adult themes, but that doesn't make it too graphic. Now, you could say, if you're one of those people, Jeff, you were 24 when the show came out and you weren't in the age group. And I would say that's true. But complex things in kids' shows are always a good thing because it adds depth, longevity to the show, and it makes people think. I mean, look at Batman the Animated Series. It's been 26 years, and the demand for the Blu-ray set was so high that they had to stop, push back the release date and, get more for the initial demand. And if for anyone out there that says, well, that's just a Blu-ray set, you don't want to, go to market without ample product. This isn't about a Blu-ray set. It's about a show that appealed to kids, it appealed to adults, it appealed to teenagers. It took a character and added so much depth, and it became the definitive version of the show. And you had the right people working on it. Now, I have a quote I pulled up because now I read this quote once, and I'm going to read it again, so indulge me. It's very short. In the early 90s, the president of Warner Brothers Animation, Gene McCurdy, gathered together perhaps the largest assembly of fanboys, geeks, of which I was proud to include myself, to ever bless a production crew of a superhero show. That series, of course, was Batman the Animated Series. It was a television show in which all the stars were in alignment. Tim Burton's movie had set the stage for a more serious Batman in the public's eye. Fox, the new network, which was to debut, was to open a kids show that would also appeal to an older age group. And everyone at Warner Brothers was ready to fight the good fight and make this the definitive version of what is arguably the greatest comic book crime fighter of all time. It was glorious. I don't know of another animated series before which all the hands-on creators had so much freedom. We picked and chose what we liked from all versions of Batman that had come before. A little Bill Finger here, a little Denny O'Neil there, to create a true distillation of the character to which we added our own vision. It was a tribute to Bob Kane that he was able to create a character with a core so solid that hundreds of artists and writers could make him their own for a while before passing him on to the next interpreters. It's amazing to think that it's been 25 years since we had our shot, but here we are again, back in the Batcave, and in glorious high definition too. That may be the mean streets of Gotham, but they were pure joy for us. So the reason I read that, not because I want to just sit and talk about Batman, the animated series, which I do. It's a fantastic show, best cartoon ever made. But I don't know of another animated series before it in which hands-on creators had so much freedom. A lot of people look at Cowboy Dave Filoni as the second coming in the Star Wars universe. He's the next George Lucas. Maybe I don't feel as strongly about Dave Filoni as I do George Lucas, but I got a lot of positivity towards the guy. You see, the Clone Wars was a show that was able to do what Batman the Animated Series did. It distilled those characters and made them the iconic versions. To be honest, the show is what made me like the prequel era of Star Wars because it fleshed out all of those characters. Before this show came out, I was on that whole, I only like the original trilogy. Episode 3 was good enough, but I don't want to watch episodes 1 through 3 anymore. The Clone Wars comes out, it gives me hope with Star Wars. That's why I thought the post-Episode 3 era, before Disney bought Star Wars, was great, because it was like the end of Return of the Jedi. We went through the battle, we all kind of came out. Then something came out, and it kind of brought back the faith, and it helped bridge the gap between the prequels and the original fans. And yeah, the show was meant to sell toys to children, but it did more than that because it had adults and kids watching the show. And it was like the perfect blend of Star Wars. It was kiddie at times, serious at other. People liked the animation, the styles. The characters weren't heavy-handed. Ahsoka, they don't write books about the women of the galaxy to raise up Ahsoka. Ahsoka could just hold her own shit against all these people. You had episodes that dealt with the defective clone and brotherhood and all these things that were really, really deep and really, really good and powerful and strong. But it was canceled because Disney was afraid it was too graphic. And that kind of stuff angers me because my platform here on this channel isn't to rip on Disney. It's to tell you people every day that I want more out of entertainment. I want depth. I want to laugh. I want to see the spectacle. I want all these things, but I want depth. Even a movie that seems so basic as Beverly Hills Cop or Die Hard, it has layers to it that upon further viewing, subsequent viewings, you see and learn little bitty things here. I want that out of everything. You can go back and watch Beware the Grey Ghost, and little bitty things pop up about that episode from Batman the Animated Series. Or every time you watch Star Wars, something new pops out to you. Disney wants the quick buck. And I guess from a business standpoint, that works. But I do appreciate watching a movie, being moved by it, then buying it and continue to watch it. Disney stuff, much like that Boba Fett article stated, everybody loved episode 7 in the theaters. But then you got home and you realized it was shit. Even Jeremy has destroyed his Blu-ray, and he's moved on from the movie as well. Hype and nostalgia are two powerful tricks that the evil dark side of Disney will use on you. But I'm awake to it. I'm woke, if you'll say. Actually, no, I am not woke. But I've been aware of what they've pulled for a long time because of a little phrase called Disneyfication. Now, if you don't know what Disneyfication is, so I'm quoting it. It's a term used in a negative way to imply the homogenization of consumption, merchandising, and emotional labor. It can be used in a more broad sense to describe the process of stripping a real place or event of its original character and repackaging it in a sanitized form. References to anything negative are removed, and the facts are watered down with the intent of making the subject more pleasant and easily grasped. If you take that quote to heart, you will understand why I do not like Disney buying Fox, Star Wars, or any other property that isn't their own. They can make this hippy-dippy bullshit all day long. You can make your Toy Stories, which I like, or your Incredibles, but you can make all that stuff, and that's the Disney stuff. Don't Disneyfy stuff that has existed for decades on its own, has been more of an adult-themed property, and then ruin it. People are excited because of Deadpool 2's PG-13 cut. I'm not. Oh, it's more Deadpool. Look, I don't normally say this on the channel, but don't go see Deadpool, the PG-13 cut. Not because I don't want you to have a good time, but because if you go support that movie, Deadpool will not have a rated R film ever again. Deadpool will become a PG-13 film, and Deadpool will become part of the Avengers. And you're thinking, oh my God, the Avengers and Deadpool, that sounds awesome. No, it really doesn't, because everyone that likes the Deadpool movies the way they are with the jokes and the sexual humor and all that stuff, that's going to be gone because you can't take kids to go see that. I wouldn't, honestly, because I really don't want to see a kid I don't want to watch a kid see Deadpool get ripped in half. Kind of weird. Then trying to explain it, it's just too many questions. But the Disneyfication, the sanitization of all of these things are part of a bigger problem. I don't rip on Disney because it's cool. I rip on Disney because people need to be aware of what's going on. And it's not like they're going to stop anytime soon. The more you openly accept Disney and blindly buy their garbage, the more your favorite properties will die. Look at The Simpsons. Maybe not a Disney call, but now Apu is going away because it's culturally sensitive to get rid of him. More and more things like this happen, and you're going to get more and more politically incorrect content down the pipe. And that kind of stuff is going to seem refreshing because we had reached a point by, the end of the 80s, early 90s, even to the early 2000s. Yes, there was political correctness in the 90s, and it got really stupid. But we had reached a point where you could joke with people from any walk of life, and people were over the whole racist calls. We've regressed as a society. Now everybody jumps to racism. Even if you don't say it in a sarcastic manner, people do jump to that as a defense, as an excuse why you can't be held accountable or for why you can't, say certain things that don't even apply to you or the person involved in the conversation. I love Dion to death, but he gets offended for people that he doesn't even fucking know. He gets offended for people that have been dead for 100 years. That's the kind of shit that comes from the Disneyfication. Everything is sanitized and safe, and everything is stripped away. The identity of Star Wars is stripped away. Now, it goes beyond just the Clone Wars being canceled, because the next iteration of Clone Wars is coming next year, 2019. And I know people didn't like my video on the Clone Wars. You got upset. Oh, Jeff, how can you hate on the Clone Wars? That was the last great Star Wars thing. It was the last great Star Wars thing. But like I've been able to say recently, I told you so. Now that we know it was canceled because it was too violent, expect the next series of Clone Wars episodes to be very safe. And don't blindly go into this shit and go, oh my God, the Clone Wars is back. I'm so thankful. I love Disney. Dave Filoni for Lucasfilm president. Watch the show first before you get all excited and start buying up all this crap. Their crap that they shovel you, the actual crap merchandise that they promote and produce. Because it's going to be a lesser show. Like Black Mirror, when it went from the BBC thing produced show to the Netflix produced show, there's a dip in quality. It's not as harsh and critical as it used to be. It doesn't have that same twist ending. It's a lot like Rod Serling's Twilight Zone and Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone. Rod Serling's Twilight Zone will never be topped. Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone, though it hasn't even been produced yet, is already going to be garbage. Preachy, post-2016 garbage. And I don't really think that those types of shows help the legacy. If anything, they tarnish the legacy. What do they say? It's better to burn out bright than fade away. The Clone Wars, it burned out bright. Would I like more of the original Clone Wars era? Of course I would. I enjoyed that show much more than most Star Wars things. If you include everything that's ever been produced for Star Wars, I'm still going original trilogy, then probably Clone Wars, then Episode 3. And it took me a second to think, do I put Return of the Jedi underneath the Clone Wars show? Because the Clone Wars has the innate ability to make me like shit that I hated before. That's quality. That's like that guy that can come into your business and say, hey, your insurance is going down, but he's so charismatic that he can make you feel okay that you're going to lose your vision support in 2020. There are things like that the Clone Wars was able to do. Somebody like me who was a skeptic, who was very staunch in their support of the old shit. And now it's gone. I can't believe I'm getting nostalgic for a show based on stuff that I was never a fan of. But that is the power of quality writing. And I haven't seen any of that from Disney. And I know a lot of you haven't either. That's not me trying to rile you up, but seriously, take a minute to look introspectively. Post-Clone Wars, have you been moved by anything from Star Wars, even Rogue One, that you want to say is good? It is good enough, but it's only good enough. There's a lot of that bullshit from Disney in that movie. I don't need to see a Star Wars movie where people are blown apart and ripped up. It's not Dawn of the Dead or Day of the Dead where the guy goes choke on him. No, it doesn't need to be that. But don't be afraid to stray away or to show some of the darker elements of war. It's Star Wars after all. So we had a lot of super chats pop up, so let me read these. Samuel Aragon, thank you very much. Star Disagreement, the Feminist Unleashed. Oh, the Star Disagreement. That's actually the scariest element, the Feminist Unleashed. Goddamn Ray. Laura Ryan stole my fan fiction story. I assumed Clone Wars was canceled because episodes were too costly. I thought that could have been the case too for a while, but Lucasfilm, they were making money off of this stuff. Clone Wars was everywhere. You had the box sets, you had the movie, which the movie wasn't that good, but you also had the toys. It took a while to get the Clone Wars toys out, but once those hit, people were buying those up. I remember I never bought them. They weren't my thing. I liked the design of the show, and I've never really disliked the animation once. I think it looks good for what it is. But I'm a stickler for realism in my action figures. Even if it's based off a cartoon, I want, as realistic as possible to the design models. Now with Clone Wars, when those toys were out, I had liked the show, I was watching it, but I hadn't fallen in love with it yet. And it was at a point in time where I couldn't afford to buy. If I could go out and buy 2 Star Wars figures, that was awesome. But I couldn't get the Clone Wars set. I could get Han and Luke and Stormtrooper gear. That's all I could afford. But it was Han and Luke and Stormtrooper gear, and that's really all I cared about at the time. But yeah, it could have been too costly. Laura Ryan stole my fan fiction story. Those things are all factors. It'll be interesting to see if Daniel Logan ever comes out and recants his story. If he goes, oh, maybe I was wrong, maybe this, that. But they do have a corroboration from the guy from Netflix, Chris, what's his name? Chris Carter? No, that's the X-Files guy. That Chris from Netflix, Jake from State Farm, those men from those companies, they have his story to corroborate the quote. But I would like to hear what Disney says officially. I wish we had the ear of Disney right now so I could just say, hey, we're not talking about The Last Jedi. We're not here to talk about Kathleen Kennedy. Why wasn't the Clone Wars actually canceled? And how much does it have to do with the graphic, in quotation marks, content that the show had or was full of? I feel like a lot of people would be surprised by the answer. Disney's very, very intentional with all their choices they make, both business and in a PR sense. Alec Munoz, thank you very much for your super chat. They also canceled a badass Boba Fett game. Yes, they did, Alec. It's called Star Wars 1313. Again, folks, just for a plug for a little bit later, I have a Star Wars video coming out, a big one, a nice long video. So make sure you check it out. It's about our friend Boba Fett, and I do talk about and show a little bit of the video game in it. And I also tried something new because while I like to read the article, I read the articles in those videos to show you guys that these aren't my opinions, that I'm changing. I'm responding and doing stuff and giving you my own take, but I don't want to ever make it appear as I'm paraphrasing or changing or manipulating their words so they can be used in my favor. No, but I have a new way to show an article, which I hope you guys like. But Alec, be sure to check that out because I was pumped for Star Wars 1313. As a teaser for the video, I'll say this. Boba Fett, no matter what it was, I was already hooked because he was cool. He was cool. I am a Boba Fett fan. I really, really love the character. I'm not going to drop, $400 on a Hot Toys Boba Fett, but I do own the Black Series Boba Fett. And if it's like, hey, this is coming out to retail, I'll go look for it. Swinging Cod, thank you very much. It's self-destructing branding. They have multiple studios they have bought with adult IPs that they will keep releasing on Blu-ray for money, but won't develop. Swinging Cod, I like that. Give me a second to take a sip of coffee, and I want to talk about that for a moment. Self-destructive branding. I've never heard that phrase. Maybe you made it up. Maybe it's a real thing. I guess your phrase for self-destructing branding would be something like, I would say, like a ticking time bomb. It only has so much time left before it just goes poof in their face. And Star Wars is there. One thing about Star Wars, and you can say this about geek culture in general, is the generation that experienced it when it was new hasn't necessarily grown up away from it. Like, I grew up watching Power Rangers as a kid. I have grown up from that. I don't watch the shows. I don't even know what number iteration they're on, what colors they are, any of that stuff. But something like a Star Wars or Marvel Comics, things like that you get into, a lot of those are something that even as you grow up, the characters grow and evolve and change, or within Star Wars, it makes you feel something, and it was so profound that as you watch it, you learn more each time, but you don't really grow away from those things. And then there are those properties that are new for the next generation. Disney has thought that they can hook these kids with this new Star Wars, but it's just not profound enough. And I get it. I understand that was their plan, but their execution was poor. And like I've said constantly, Lucasfilm has attacked the adult males. Maybe the majority is white. Who cares what skin color they are? They buy your shit. I don't care if everybody that bought Stealing Solo was white, black, Indian, Asian. I don't care. You supported the thing. I'm thankful. Lucasfilm should be the same way. Don't go out of your way to drink out of fanboy tier mugs and all this other shit because your asses are going to be out of jobs sooner than you think. I mean, in the next article we're going to be talking about in a little while, there's a reason why Episode 9 is seen as course correction. These things are just bad business decisions. And they'll put out stuff on Blu-ray, and then they'll give you The Mandalorian because, look, guys, stormtroopers. Look, guys, this and that. If I'm Disney, I would not be making The Mandalorian, or Lucasfilm. I guess unless it's an edict from Disney at the top, then I understand even more, but I'm not happy. But if this is Lucasfilm's decision because of whatever stupid decision they make constantly, I'm unhappy. Why do Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo? You could have done Boba Fett. That could have been the first Star Wars movie or first Star Wars story. Anybody can play him. You don't need a big named actor. You can get like a Jason Statham or somebody to voice Boba Fett, or you can use some garbled voice thing. I don't know. It doesn't have to be Tamara Morrison. I hope it's not actually, because I hate his voice for Boba Fett. But you could have put that movie out. You could have thrown in the bounty hunters and Darth Vader, and you could have hit on this fanboy nostalgia, and you don't have to watch your favorite characters be fucked. Just raw, nasty. Lando Calrissian, fucked. That guy, I love Lando. People are like, you don't really talk about Lando. Yeah, but Lando's on my shelf. I have Lando figures in all the scales. I'm a Lando fan. Not so much anymore after what Donald Glover did. Not even Donald Glover, Jonathan Kasdan, and all these other people. They have this innate ability to ruin the thing because they think they're trying to make it more modern. Those characters don't need to be more modern. They live in a fictional galaxy in the past. Don't update and don't modernize that. We go there because we like it. Oh yeah, it's a product of its time. But for somehow, the only thing dated about the first Star Wars movie is the sideburns. Hell, even Luke Skywalker's haircut has come full circle to where it doesn't look too dated anymore. They've done these things to try to update for these kids, but kids will find them. I found Star Wars almost 20 years after it came out. I didn't watch Saturday Night Fever and go, wow, that was amazing. I like it now as an adult. But as a kid, I didn't find that. I didn't find any of these things. There was something about that. The magic. It's a magical movie. And they've gone out of their way. So Swinging Cod, it is self-destructive branding because you're pushing out the one audience that will go and see it and will get their kids into it. And this new stuff just doesn't do it for anybody, adults, kids. I had a lot of reports, and I know this is anecdotal, but still, these are people from different parts of the world and different parts of the country that say, "Hey, Jeff, happy Halloween. I just wanted to let you know we didn't have any Star Wars kids as trick-or-treaters at our house." That we had a message like that come from the UK. We had a message come like that from Virginia, just different parts of the country and the world. And I'm sure that's not just those 2 locations or however many emails I got. They're just not picking up on this stuff. I mean, I went to the Halloween section of Target to try to pick up some, discounted stuff. And they, the Marvel suits were moved, but the Star Wars, from what little was there, not necessarily so. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe kids want a screen accurate Rose Tico suit. So they go down to their local market and they get a potato sack and they sew it up and they go put on the wig and they're Rose Tico. Or they just don't care. They just don't give a shit. But it's great that these people will buy the Blu-rays. It's nice, but they won't develop anything. Star Wars, I know that this sounds productive to the argument, but in many ways it didn't need to be developed. It was perfect the way it was. Let it just exist, and then when this generation dies off, let it slowly die off. And if there's a resurgence, well, so there's a resurgence. But until then, just kind of, And yes, the market in 05 to 09 was much bigger than it is now. I'm telling you guys, the toys were great too. They could put out full-size ships because they were profitable. Disney has come in and demanded that Hasbro pay a bigger licensing fee to Lucasfilm. And that has not been good because if you guys would want this, I could do this. I could talk to my toy guy too, because we're going to do a stream from the store soon. What you could have got for $90, for like $40, $39 or $49 nowadays costs hundreds of dollars. And what you get for that same price is nothing. People would say, well, the economy's changed. Well, this is post the crash. Well, oil prices have changed. Well, actually, prices have gone down. Hasbro decided to instead of drop their prices to up their quality. These are known things. Everything seems to have gone downhill. Video games. It's not us anymore. It's not the fans. It's not the people. It's the people. It's the companies that produce this shit. They have gone downhill. And I can't stand it. That's why I'll use this show and we'll talk about this stuff. And I know there's hundreds, if not tens of thousands of you out there that feel the same way. I'm not alone in this. Thank you, ARG man. By the way, I got your message. I know I responded to you, but I will be talking to you in person on Saturday night. So folks, that's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for our veteran stream. It's not a military themed stream. It's going to be talking to people who served and they, how they consume entertainment and whatever they want to talk about. This is, it's an open mic for them because they support the channel and, they've done a lot. And I'm not a super patriot. I'm not a Hank Hill, but I'm not one of these people who is so driven by ideology that I can't take take a moment to say thanks and, talk to everybody. Maruf Dioline, welcome back to the channel, my friend. The Clone Wars is a pathway to many abilities Disney considers to be unnatural. Ooh, I like that one. I like that one a lot. It is saddening. Is Clone Wars still on Netflix? Because I'm not going to all of a sudden spend my days watching Star Wars because I have stuff to do. But the Clone Wars is just a nice, relaxing excursion, or not excursion, that's the wrong word. What's the one I use? Distraction from, the garbage of today. And the Clone Wars is still on here. Okay. Ooh, and the movie, even though the movie kind of sucks. By the way, folks, we've done an entire Clone Wars stream for the animated one, the Jendi Tartakovsky. Check it out. It's on the channel. It's all the episodes. We did a commentary for it. So if you'd like to queue it up, because the episodes are here on YouTube, so it doesn't cost anything. You can queue up the video, and you can queue up ours. I think we even put the link in the description so you know which one we're watching. You can hear us talk and gush about it. Me being an artist, what I appreciate from the show. The Pui, happy Monday, Jeff. Happy Monday to you, the Pui, my friend. Glad you're here. Rogue One was good enough, but not Anakin. I have the high ground. Good. No, but the Pui, thank you as always, my friend. Albedo, thank you very much. Watch the video Clone Wars for Kids. It's great. All right, I'll take a screenshot of your super chat, and I'll do that. Because, like I said, I always want to watch fun, good stuff. I'm a little behind. I have to watch Ivan Ortega's Last Jedi edit, but I'm going to make a video about it so I can help bring attention to Ivan's content. Because Ivan, good dude, great editor. And he's really, really friendly. Like, he may come, he's nice in his videos, but he's like super, super friendly when you talk to him. Probably the nicest person involved with all of the Fandom Menace. Yeah, sorry if I offended you, proper Jeremy 12, but Ivan Ortega's the nicest one. Lou DiMarzo, thank you very much. Here's a red letter date in the history of science, November 5th, 1955. November 5th, 1955. It's the day I invented time travel. Lou, thank you very much. So are you the Lou that owns the... Oh, actually, his name is Carruthers. I know that. I love Back to the Future. But we'll talk a little about Back to the Future. I really, within the next 7 days now. So Marty McFly goes back next Monday night. We're sending him back to the future. All right, Monday is good. I can hang out with you. No, Marty, you must not go out. No, but we have exactly 1 week during the Back to the Future 1955 phase. And just to show you how big of a nerd I am for that movie, every year I watch Back to the Future on the 26th of October, and then I watch it at least once between the 5th and the 12th of November, because those are the dates that the movie takes place in. It is my favorite film. I have nothing but positive things to say. One thing, though, I don't watch it very often. Why? Because I like to maintain its specialness. If you watch it so much, it doesn't become an event. I love Beverly Hills Cop, but I watch it so much, it's like, I'm just going to flip to the scene where Axel tricks, what's her name, Foster's and McCabe, and, goes to the Harrow Club. Just, I'll watch scenes. Back to the Future, it's an event. Star Wars, I try to make it an event, where I just sit down and I'm just like, wow, I'm happy. I'm really into it. But Lou, thank you very much for your Back to the Future themed super chat. I appreciate all super chats, but Back to the Future themed ones really, really make me happy. Tim Riggs, thank you very much. I can't help but blame garbage TV like The Big Bang Theory for some of this. The hipsterization of geek culture is a big part of how we got here. Boom. It is. I don't know what it's like to live life just following trends blindly. I know that sounds really harsh to say, and I'm not here to ever critique someone's intelligence. And that's really not even what this is about. But I know a lot of people that listen to this show aren't in that group, because you guys have loved Star Wars, you've loved your own thing, you found it yourself, and you've been fans for a long time. It's not even just being a long-time fan. You organically became a fan. The hipsterization of The Big Bang Theory, as well as the romanticizing of the zombie stuff with The Walking Dead, has really killed genre entertainment for a little while. Now, The Walking Dead's on its way out. I think Rick was in his last episode or something last night. I don't know. If somebody wants to tell me in the chat, I'd love to find out, because at one point I did like that show. But I call it the Funko Pop era of entertainment, Tim, where, and I know this is a dumb analogy, but I like it. A Funko Pop is a homogenized, lifeless shell that they just paint on whatever represents character, but it's the same shit in the same box, just shipped out across the world. Oh, you want The Rock? Well, let's put a little pair of sunglasses and paint a $500 shirt on him. Oh, you want James Bond? Well, we're gonna use the same body and we're gonna paint a little tuxedo on him. It's just the same old shit, different day, different box. Big Bang Theory, it's not cool anymore. It was kind of different when it first came out, but even the people, like, we'll use my friend Joel as an example. Hopefully Joel's on this Saturday night stream. Joel was into that show. He's a longtime geek. We're talking 80s, like 1980. Because I'm like, when did you start reading comics? He's like, oh, 1980. I'm like, okay, so he remembers that. He was 10 years old. He's been into it. He was the guy buying the Wizard magazines in the 90s thinking, oh, man, maybe one day they'll make a good Captain America movie or this or that. Like, he read the articles. He's lived it. He's been in the trenches the whole time. He got into that show. And then he got out of that show because after a while it was the same old shit. You can look at The Big Bang Theory as from two different ways. A bad sitcom that repeats the jokes over and over until they're not funny, and in many cases they never were. Or something that takes geek culture that was different and unique and made it Disneyfied it to a degree, and then it became just this mess, this gray, lifeless blob, this bazinga blob that nobody laughs at anymore, and people will take great pleasure in seeing it canceled. Was it the number one show at one point, just like The Walking Dead was like the number one show on cable, and people have turned on it. People didn't turn on it because it's popular. I think a lot of people turn on these shows because they're bad and they're popular. Breaking Bad was a great show. I loved it, and it was popular. And when it ended and it was great. You either die Breaking Bad or you live long enough to see yourself become Dexter. And Dexter is the most disappointing TV show finale ever. I thought if you would have met me, I don't know, 10-ish years ago. Yeah, Dexter was on 10 years ago, and I was watching it around season 4. I thought Dexter was the great, well, no, 8 years ago. Sorry. I thought Dexter was the coolest, greatest show ever made. I was like, this show is incredible. It's graphic, it's dark, it's realistic, it's fun, it's this, it's that. When we got to the final season, I'm just like, cancel this shit. I can't wait for it to end. Don't let your shows become that. You know, I like when a show ends when you want more. Last season of It's Always Sunny, I was hoping that'd be the end because it was the perfect ending. Now it's back, and I haven't even watched it. I have no interest. Just don't let yourself become, don't overstay your welcome. Always have an exit and always leave them wanting more. I always enjoy that mentality. Billy Ritchie, thank you very much. There's a new one called Soviet Comrade Jeremy. Oh, shit, Soviet Comrade Jeremy. Well, if he ever contacts us, we hope he gives us the secret codes to control the Russian bot so we can get 27 million views on our videos. Let's see. Do we have any more? Are we all caught up on the super chats? It looks like we're all caught up on the super chats. If I missed it, folks, just let me know. But yes, this Disneyfication is a problem in all of entertainment. And there's more than just that. There's the McDonald'sization, which is where they just do that. Same thing with food. Then there's the Walmarting effect, which is what they do with retail, which I don't like. Here's the thing, too. When I say I don't shop at Walmart or I don't like McDonald's or I don't buy Disney products, it's not because I'm trying to send a message or be a hipster in many ways. I just don't like what they do. Walmart in my neighborhood's dangerous. It's not a safe store, and it's ghetto as shit. Hillbilly as shit, too. I don't feel safe going there. McDonald's, the food sucks. Only good when you're in need of something and that's all that's available, or their breakfast is pretty legit. And the Disney stuff, I see through Disney's garbage, their fake veneer of bullshit, and I'm just too old for it. I feel like I'm Danny Glover in this whole situation. I'm just too old for this shit. I don't care about Disney. But it all stems from dumbing down of anything. Dumbing down of society, dumbing down of entertainment. Folks, the biggest thing I will ask of you ever on this channel, yes, I appreciate support and all that stuff, and the channel needs it, but the one thing I will always ask you, the biggest thing, is to think for yourselves and think critically about these things. Don't just buy in to garbage. Now, I'm not saying you need to be skeptical, like you need to be a truther or something like that, but when you've seen Disney pull this shit for decades with other properties, their own mainly, don't just blindly accept him buying stuff because, Captain America can now meet the Fantastic Four. While that sounds great on paper, think of all the things you will sacrifice, everything, TV, movies, all this other crap, eventually video game properties, all these things will be sacrificed, and people are so myopic, they're so focused, they have tunnel vision on this one thing, this idea that the Avengers can all be together. I hate to break it to you, Avengers fans. Captain America dies in the next one. I haven't seen the movie, but I'm just putting it out there. He's gone. Half of them are gone. What's going to happen? You're going to get this new wave of these great MCU characters, and then the X-Men will pop up, and then the Fantastic Four will pop up, and you'll go, man, if only Evans Captain America could be with this. Or, oh, man, if only Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man could. And then it's always going to be a coulda, woulda, shoulda, and then you're going to watch all your favorite things get homogenized and ruined and dumbed down. So that is the price you pay when Disney controls the world. Don't let Disney control everything. And if it's a Disney-controlled property and you have a question, look deeper into it. It's very easy to do a little bit of research and look into Disney's past and what they have intended for the future. Maybe it's not this weird Bilderberg-like conspiracy, but it is basically an attempt to dumb people down, give them dumb entertainment, and then just have them be complacent. Disney wants you to buy their stupid movies, go to their stupid theme parks, spend $45 on an ice cream bar, and just smile the whole time. Be like one of their animatronic robots or their employees that are afraid for their lives. Disney is the worst. We had a super chat, a couple of them. So thank you very much. First off, from our friend Winning Jeremy. I am number 24748237373737373734709 from Jeremy Army. Oh god damn. Woo! The Jeremy Army, if those are the numbers, you guys can take over the world in 5 minutes. So thankfully, I'm friends with the real Jeremy. We should call him Jeremy Prime. Unless there's a Jeremy Prime account, Jeremy, the real one, should be Jeremy Prime. I'm friends with Jeremy Prime. Thankfully, the Jeremy Army and I see eye to eye. All, God, 247 trillion of you. But thank you, Winning Jeremy. I appreciate your support. Kevithar1138, thank you very much. To your point, Jeff, leaving them wanting more provides a fan base for franchises. It does. I didn't learn it from The Rock, but The Rock is the prime example. He would say, always leave them wanting more. Why isn't The Rock in the Hall of Fame? Why hasn't The Rock done this? Why hasn't he done that? And it keeps him in the conversation constantly. Like once a lot of these wrestlers go into the Hall of Fame, that's it. Their careers are done. They ride off into the sunset metaphorically. With him, it's like, what if? And you keep seeing him work out and all these things, and he's still in good shape. And it always keeps you wanting to know, maybe there's one more match in him. Or like a movie, maybe there's one more Die Hard or one more Rambo, or just one more thing. And people, you keep it in a special place in your heart. With Star Wars, there's like 10 more coming out, and it's less and less special. But the possibility of that thing, and you wanting it, and you think about it, and in your mind, what's next? You have all these 1,000,001 possibilities, all these things that could happen. That, to me, always leaving them wanting more keeps you excited, and you keep coming back. Like with the channel and the videos, I say, come back next time for more. What's more? I could tell you. I have a list. I don't tell you. Come back next time for more. Always keep them wanting more. Always keep them wondering what's next. Engage your fan base. With Marvel, it is nice knowing that, well, Iron Man's in these 4 movies. Okay, cool. Because you get excited. But those movies don't have to have the same logical conclusion, and they can keep you wanting more because there's like, what's next in the whole universe? Maybe the characters will be there, but you don't know what they'll do. That's where the biggest mistake was with Superman. You could have made a Superman film where Superman's the same tried and true character, but everything around him's different. What's next for Superman? Find out. Does he go to space? Does he fight giant robots, aliens, lizards, anything? But they don't do that. They go for the dark, dour, boring approach, and they just give you these arcs where you're just like, he's dead, whatever. Let's see what else we had. Good morning, folks. Todd Rector, thank you very much. Should there be a sequel to Halloween 2018? Ooh, good example, or a good example of this. Always leave them wanting more. No, I don't think they should ever make another Halloween movie ever. I have changed my opinions on Halloween over the last couple of weeks. I prefer Halloween's 1, 2, 3, then maybe H2O, then the new one. It's really difficult, but I won't spoil it because it's still new in theaters for a lot of people. But I don't think there should be a sequel. I don't even think there should have been a sequel to the original Halloween. As a fan talking about a 40-year-old flick that does have a franchise, and luckily, a lot of people love that franchise. But let me get serious for a moment. The way the first Halloween ends is near perfection. I like a movie that builds to the finale, be it Star Wars, Hot Fuzz, anything. Back to the Future. Halloween builds to that ultimate conclusion of Michael Myers meeting Dr. Loomis and everything. Oh, he literally drives behind Loomis. Loomis turns his head. Michael Myers just gets away. Loomis is always on the hunt for him. It always builds to that climax. And we get it. He shoots him 6 times. He falls out the window. It was the boogeyman. As a matter of fact, I think it was. He goes to look at the kill. He's gone. Holy shit. What's next? Never tell anyone what's next. That was John Carpenter's idea. You would always want to know what happened. Where did he go? How did he get away? He was shot 6 times. I can hear him breathing. Did he return home? Is he going to go kill more people? Those types of things, those questions, you hear how quick I said those, how excited I got. I know the answers, but I'm putting myself in a place where I don't know. And I always want to know. Imagine wanting to know for 40 years and never knowing. If the movie maintained its popularity and you always wanted to know more. For example, Star Wars, the 3 years between A New Hope, which wasn't A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back. Oh my God, they defeated the Death Star. What other missions are they going on? Is Luke a Jedi yet? What about Darth Vader? He didn't die, blah, 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 blah. Always leave them wanting more. I don't think there should ever be another sequel to this Halloween because I hated the ending. You can't really do much with it. There's the Todd Rector. There was another ending for that movie that was shot, and there are images of it where Jamie Lee Curtis gets stabbed in the chest and Michael Myers gets shot with an arrow from Judy Greer. That's an interesting ending to me. The ending they gave us really is preachy, ham-handed, and stupid, and I hated it. LSU fan Jeremy, thank you very much. No, real Jeremy is Alabama Jeremy. Hashtag red man bad. Oh, poor Jeremy. Alabama Jeremy. Alpha Terranema, thank you very much for your super chat. The Disneyfication thing is why I hate when someone says they wish Nintendo went third party. You know, Alpha Terranema, I was going to bring up some gaming stuff at the end, and I still am, but I want to make a point about your super chat. Had you talked to me 10 years ago, I would have felt that same way. I hated the Wii. I was not a fan. Now, as an adult, and I look at all these game companies produce garbage, unfinished garbage. I know that when I go buy a Nintendo game for my Switch, I'm going to get a complete experience, a good experience, and I'm going to enjoy it. That is why maybe there's about 20 video games I want to buy in the next couple of months. 80% come from Nintendo. I know that Nintendo has that level of quality, and they don't really fall into the same rhetoric bullshit because they're a Japanese company. This SJW NPC shit is a Western problem. Thankfully, a good chunk of the world just doesn't care. The Chinese don't buy into it. The Japanese don't buy into it. Imagine a Legend of Zelda game made by an American studio. You'd literally play as Zelda. Link would be held captive. It would be this whole subversion of expectations, and people would be pissed. You'd have the games journal media attacking the fans, calling them sexist and racist and all this other shit. And then the game flops. With Nintendo, you may be Link saving Zelda for the 100th time, but you know that there's quality gameplay experience and a lot of fun. And because of the last generation of games becoming like movies, it's too big. You know, it's all about the spectacle and very little substance. And then you get it and it's it. Like I was playing Uncharted last night for a minute because I was testing out all the shit on the PS4 if I wanted to do more streams outside of Red Dead. And Uncharted was great, but it's such a short game. Nintendo games have a lot more play to them, and I like that. I respect that so much. So, Alpha Terranema, I have switched my stance on Nintendo going third party. I used to want one system for all that shit. I wouldn't mind if Nintendo became so big that other parties went to them, and Nintendo became that again. But I don't want everybody to have full control. I like the three systems. I don't have an Xbox. One day, maybe. But the PlayStation and the Switch are pretty damn good, and I got a good variety of games left to play. LSU fan Jeremy, thank you very much. Let me change that to Crimson Man Bad. Good thinking there, LSU Jeremy. I was thinking to myself, Red Man Bad? I don't want to attack the tobacco company. I'm not ready to go against the lobbyists. So we are... there we go. We are strong this Monday morning. This show, oh man, I'm really, really feeling it. And I can tell a lot of you guys are too. And ladies out there. I can't discriminate. But I wanted to bring this up because we want to have a good laugh. This is another Star Wars article. That's why I don't necessarily run to do every Star Wars article that comes out, because I like to save it for Good Morning Pop Culture to drum up conversation. Now, let's talk about article number 2. So for those joining us, welcome. It's only 8:48. We're in our second hour now, but don't worry, we're not going anywhere. So Star Wars Episode 9, reportedly a course correction for Lucasfilm. A new report indicates that Lucasfilm hopes that Star Wars Episode 9 will put the franchise back on the right track after a disappointing box office haul for Solo, a Star Wars story. The report comes from a Variety article on how several major studios are pursuing director J.J. Abrams for a record-breaking mega deal. According to the article, Lucasfilm is approaching Episode 9 as a course correction following the failure of Solo to meet expectations. Solo only earned over $392 million worldwide upon its release in May. The film is currently the least successful of the Star Wars films and may have lost Disney up to $50 million. Alden Ehrenreich, the actor who plays Solo in the film, is signed on for 3 films with Disney, which means he could still return to the role in some capacity in other spin-off films set during that period. However, Solo itself is unlikely to get a sequel. Abrams, who directed 2015's The Force Awakens, is returning to the director's chair following the departure of Colin Trevorrow in September of 2017. Production on Episode 9 began in August, according to a tweet from Abrams. Director and and that's it. I'm not going to give you the boilerplate. That's not a boilerplate anyway. Course correction for Star Wars. So, I love how Solo is the sacrificial lamb in all of this. Solo is the film that they'll admit was a failure, but it stems from The Last Jedi problems. So we know that Star Wars is in a bad place. We live it every day. And like I say in my videos, and I make sure to make this point, I don't talk about Star Wars just to talk about Star Wars. Star Wars is part of the bigger picture, this cultural war that we're in. Video games, movies, cartoons, comic books, all of these things are infected with this weird ideology that doesn't reflect the consumer that actually would buy it. Kids don't need to be infected with half of this crap at any age, even adults. We just don't need it. It's just crap. It's stupid. You respect the person, but you don't have to respect their ideas about certain things, which, it's fine. But when it comes to all of these problems with Lucasfilm, I firmly believe, though they'll deny it, it stems from The Last Jedi. Solo flopped because of the garbage 5 months between The Last Jedi and Solo. That was when we were called intimidated by women, by J.J. Abrams himself. We have quotes, we have articles, that's not made up. We have Rian Johnson going out of his way to be talking about blocking his asshole and all this other stuff, and his Dr. Morton Bay, which was after the 5 months, but still, they're going to dehumanize the fans. And it's okay when they do it, but when people make fun of them, oh my God, it's racist, and YouTube tries to defend them. Course correction for Star Wars isn't making it is making better films. You do need to do that, but you need better PR and you need to respect your audience. Star Wars Celebration this year is the most important. This is the most important era ever for Star Wars fans in general. Everything needs to be done perfect on the Lucasfilm. Kathleen Kennedy can't say some stupid feminist bullshit about how she doesn't care about Luke Skywalker and girls can't identify with him. Because we got that Star Wars girl, Anna, and she will tell you why Luke Skywalker is the greatest character of all time. She's a woman. You can't have these directors. You can't have J.J. Abrams go on Twitter and attack fans or anything like that. Because we have learned that no matter what they do and say and try to pin on Star Wars fans, this toxic masculinity, this toxic minority, this small group, everything they have blamed us for, everything that they have said we have caused has been proven to be false. Remember the first sacrificial lamb, Daisy Ridley? Oh, she was bullied off Instagram. No, I wasn't. I quit because I didn't want to be scrutinized every day. Okay, her words. Gotta believe her. Oh, Rose Tico, I was bullied off of Instagram because of all these hateful racists. Well, guess what? Half of those racists were confirmed to be the Russian bots that we were blamed to be for, tanking The Last Jedi score. So when we come out and hear that story, oh, radio silence. Rose Tico wasn't bullied off. And then when she comes out, it was even more. She talks about, I want to be called Loanne and all this other stuff. Fine, Rose Tico. Go off and live your life. We, the people that hated, I'm not going to say dislike, fucking hated The Last Jedi with a passion. Don't hate the people that make the movie that are starring in it, just doing a job. Rian Johnson, he's the most guilty one. Kathleen Kennedy, she's guilty too. Ron Bergman, he's guilty. He's the third. If you don't know who he is, well, damn it, look him up because he is the producer of that piece of shit. And he gave unwavering support to his friend, quotation marks, Rian Johnson. But all of that shit that they blamed us for was proven to be false. So you can make a joke and say, oh, I'm Russian bot, whatever, or I'm NPC this, that, beep, boop, Soviet. At the end of the day, those were all deflection tactics for a bad movie that people didn't like, that killed a franchise, and it's still hurting it. Go to your local stores, folks. Go watch the glut of still. Here's an example. GameStop. I'm starting to come around to GameStop and their fan collectibles. Been buying action figures. I got woke and I bought a Black Panther figure. Oh, heavens forbid, I'm collecting every comic book accurate version of the Avengers in Marvel Legends form. Oh, I be damned. But what I'm trying to get at is, you go into that store, and if you go to look for, I don't know, Grand Moff Tarkin sold out. You go to look for Han and Bespin gear, you ain't gonna find it. You go over to Target, they're sold out of their Leia exclusives. But what you will find are pegs and pegs full of the vintage collection figures that are Snoke, a new Stormtrooper, Rey, Jyn Erso. You can't even find young Han Solo. That's how decent he's doing as a figure, because he represents the old guard. But they're constantly pushing down our throats this new wave of Star Wars characters, this third wave, literally, this third wave of Star Wars characters, and it's not working. So the course correction needs to be more than just, oh, we're going to fix the movie. Look, at J.J. Abrams can take his record-breaking deals. These people are going to realize that that mystery box has nothing in it, much like the substance of his movies. J.J. Abrams, you are not Steven Spielberg. You are not as good as he will ever be. Even on his worst day, Steven Spielberg is 10 times better than you. And I don't even like Steven Spielberg that much. I think Jurassic Park is an okay movie, just whatever. But Spielberg had an eye in the 80s that was not matched. The only people that had work that was almost as good but not as commercially successful as Steven Spielberg in the 80s were like John Landis and John Carpenter. Those guys created a ton of great work, didn't have the success of Spielberg, but they were still on top of their game. But nobody was doing it better than Spielberg, both financially and critically. I don't like E.T., haven't really seen all of it, but you know what? It made more money than Star Wars, and it caught on. Indiana Jones trilogy, the best trilogy. Just movie for movie, no trilogy is better. He executive produced Back to the Future and all kinds of other shit. His name is on some of the best movies ever made. And everyone thinks that J.J. Abrams, because you can rip off E.T. and the Goonies and all this other shit with your movie called Super 8, or you could instill get everyone excited because of Lost and all this other shit that you're attached to. Well, I hate to break it to you, man, but much like society and all of entertainment being dumber today than it's ever been, your work is dumber than most shit out there. Oh, Cloverfield Paradox, your name's attached to it, it's a piece of shit. I thought that was going to be the second coming because I thought 10 Cloverfield Lane was incredible. That was up for my favorite movie of 2016? Yeah, 2016. I was really into that. That got me. That small, claustrophobic atmosphere. John Goodman. John Goodman can act. I used to think of John Goodman as Dan Connor and Walter Sobchak. I love The Big Lebowski, but I never thought of him as a serious actor's actor until that movie. I was scared of John Candy at one point. Or not John Candy, excuse me, John Goodman. If John Candy was in a movie, I'd be very scared right now. But my point is, J.J. Abrams can get these record deals, and you can buy hype, you can buy artificial excitement, but the box office is what determines these successes. And people aren't going to see Star Wars Episode 9, if they do, for J.J. Abrams' return to form and saving the franchise. It's fucking Star Wars. Put my name in the fucking directed by line, and anybody's going to go see the movie. Why? Because it's Star Wars. You'll have your John Campias and your Scott Mendelsons and all these other dickheads over at Screen Rant, Screen Junkie, and I don't give a shit where else they come from. They'll sit and harp on, is this director proven? Is this this? Is this that? But every other person out there's going to say, Star Wars is back? Yay. But because we're now in a climate where everybody associated with this shits on you, you're going to go, Star Wars, I got to think this one out. I'm going to wait. I didn't like the last one, and those people that didn't like the last one, my God, are they being terrorized online? It's funny how these things go. It's funny how you fail upward in Hollywood. You know, Kathleen Kennedy, hey, I'm going to tank Star Wars and try to make it what it's not, and it's definitely not what it's supposed to be. That's okay. I got a 3-year extension on my contract. Where else can you fuck up? Maybe the NFL. You know, we have this coach, Marvin Lewis. Everybody hates that dude. I don't even watch football. I know he's a shitty coach. But what? He constantly gets renewed contracts and more deals, and he's still the fucking coach for almost 20 years. I don't get how these things work, but they do work. And Kathleen Kennedy is in that Marvin Lewis category. Jorge67, thank you very much for your super chat. Halloween was borderline soy-based. Dialogue's cringy. A lot of the story and characters sucked and led to nowhere, and none of the 3 women died. I said it months ago. It's going to suck, and sadly, I was right. Jorge67, I was one of those people that said, we got to wait and see. You know what? You were right after all of it. At the end of the day, Jorge67 was right. The 3 women should not have survived. I thought they were terrible, terrible characters. It's nothing to do with their gender. They're just poorly written characters. Judy Greer, all she did is spout out psychological terms. This, that, trigger warnings, this, that, crap. Okay. Jamie Lee Curtis can still act and can still go. I liked part of her, but I didn't like other parts of her. I would have rather had it be more of a Michael Myers, her, not granddaughter, daughter. I didn't like the generation. Every other character was fucking stupid. Everybody. Only the little black kid, Julian, was awesome because he made me laugh, and the kid's a good actor. So I hope to see him in other stuff like that. I don't want to go watch, Hannah Montana 6 or something like that. But if he shows up in a Jason movie or a Freddy Krueger movie or some other shit like that, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to watch, and I'm going to be like, wow, that kid really did elevate himself from just a one-note joke character to that same one-note joke character over tons of movies. So good luck for him. But yeah, overall, that movie, the more I get away from it, the more I think about it, it was a disappointment. And I hope it doesn't open the doors for more shitty, complacent, soy-based horror films. You need something balls to the wall like Friday the 13th Part 6, just violent, gory, rock and roll of a movie. Just go punk with it. Don't give a shit about modern day politics. Just make it be a slaughter fest. It's funny. 2 months ago, I kept saying how I want realism, not realism, but I want some respectability, some suspense, some drama built into this show or these shows. No, because when you get that, you got to take into account the lens which they're being created through. Jason Blum in his speech about we need more female directors and all this stuff. The ladies of the world, if you want to go direct horror movies, guess what? You can do whatever you want. Go out into the world. Go direct your horror movies. Or if you're a female director, go direct whatever the fuck you want. If you don't want to make some shitty horror film, then you don't have to make some shitty horror film to look good for Jason Blum, who's only relevant for 2 weeks out of each year. Guess what? Nobody's talking about Halloween anymore, except for the fact that it was the third highest grossing or the second highest grossing movie of the month. Good for Halloween. It's over and it's done with, and no one's going to talk about horror until next year. Now it's Christmas time, oddly enough, and people don't give a shit about those movies. Even the horror fans like me, I'm burnt out. That movie was disappointing. It wasn't the worst Halloween movie. It wasn't the best, but I'm ready to move on to anything besides horror. I tried to watch something last night that was horror-based. I turned it off. Why? Because there was so much of it this year. The lore, people were buying it. It was like The Force Awakens. I'm going to make a video about how Halloween and The Force Awakens are very, very similar. I think I'm a great person to make that. I know I'm the right person to make that shit because I like horror, I like Star Wars, and I experienced all this shit because I pay attention to how it's marketed and how it's presented to the consumer, how it's used to trick you into feeling a sense of security and originality with a product that's essentially the same old shit in a new box. Alexander P., thank you very much. There are enough upset fans to send a message in Star Wars Episode 9. There are enough upset fans to send a message to Lucasfilm about Star Wars Episode 9. Everyone out there can make their decision to not see the movie. The only thing I ever say, I don't advocate for a boycott because I'm not a loser. What I advocate for is wait a week. Listen to our reviews because we'll be honest. We're always honest with movies. Even Halloween, I wanted to love it. I couldn't love it because it wasn't that great. It wasn't worth my love. So don't worry about, is it worth it? I see, that's the one thing that bothers me about all this. Do not think that your intentions are futile, because if you feel this way, I guarantee you 2 other people feel that way, and then 4 other people, and then 8 other people, and it keeps growing and building. Stick to your guns. Don't just give in and roll over for these places. If you want Episode 9 to fail, don't see the fucking movie. Watch the trailer, because that doesn't really do much. But you know what? Don't go see the movie if that's how you feel. If you feel that your voice is best heard by not seeing the movie, then do what you have to do. All I can tell you is stick to your guns and believe in whatever you believe in. Go for it. Don't act like, well, I'll just go see it anyway. No. Go follow your gut. Follow your heart. Cover your heart, too, because they're going to rip it out, Molaram style. But do what you feel is right in all of this. Like Obi-Wan says, you must do what you feel is right, of course. Go for that, but don't give up. Don't ever feel, Alexander, that just because you may think whatever, it's not worth it. Look at Solo. Solo failed. It can happen again. It's not much better. See, the thing is, what they're doing is they're spacing out the news. I keep bringing the news to your attention because I want you to remember. See, complacency is the most dangerous weapon they have, because everyone will go, it was so long ago. I think I liked the last one. Maybe I liked the last one. I don't know. Beep bop. I'm just going to go see this movie to make sure I didn't like the last one. No. Number one thing I can tell everyone to do, go watch The Last Jedi before you go see Star Wars Episode 9. It sounds like a positive spin, and you'll remember why you hated Star Wars Episode 8 in the first place. And websites like CDR and Comic Book Movie and all these places are going to tell you how great everything is, because that's where they get big clicks and advertising bucks. They may go get to see the movies early and this, that, and the other. Exclusives here, exclusives there. I got to work for my shit. I got to work for the content I make. But I don't have to kiss Disney's ass. I don't have to kiss Lucasfilm's ass. I can do what I want, how I want. I'm beholden to one group of people, the listeners. And as long as I'm beholden to you guys, I will work hard to make it happen. And I don't have to put a spin on it. All I can tell you is, you've lived the last, year almost for Star Wars. Don't forget it. Don't forget this last year. Just remember this stuff into March, into April when you meet us. Come to Celebration to hang out with us. Go there. Remember all this other crap from The Last Jedi. Don't forget that shit. Don't forget Solo. Your voice matters. Just keep making noise. That's all you can do, is just keep making noise and keep constantly going out there and telling everybody and reminding them. I go into my local comic book shop and they still talk about this shit. Not because they know I'm from this show, but because they're still pissed off. And wait till Captain Marvel comes out. They pull the same crap in the MCU. You'll never hear the end of this shit. You'll never hear the end of this shit. I am moving Good Morning Pop Culture to the new channel, but it couldn't get monetized. So just heads up for all the hundreds of people that are here right now. Good Morning Pop Culture is going to be archived on the Good Morning Pop Culture channel. So once this goes off the air, it goes away. It does not get deleted, but it gets archived over on the Good Morning Pop Culture channel in about an hour or so, once I can get it edited and uploaded over there. So be on the lookout. That's how that's going to work until Good Morning Pop Culture goes to its own channel. So in the meantime, because I didn't want to lose monetization and all this stuff, Good Morning Pop Culture will be here live, only live. So you got to catch it. Don't worry about if anything else is going on short of, your family issues or your job. Listen to this show when it goes live, and then come back to the other channel and catch it on the archive where it will remain. Darth Tiberius, thank you very much. Daisy Ridley is a nice person, but she does nothing to excite anyone. She's boring, and Ruin Johnson isn't good enough to make her more exciting. She doesn't seem like a bad person. I don't think she seems like the perfect actor. Not very smart, does what she's told. She exists. She has a big smile. Scary at times, but those teeth are pearly white. But yeah, she is boring. Ruin Johnson isn't good enough to make her more exciting. Ruin Johnson isn't good enough for anything. He can't get himself over, which is a wrestling phrase. The guy, he's a controversy lightning rod, which is good, I guess. But I, for one, will not go see Knives Out. Even if fucking Daniel Craig himself picked me up in an Aston Martin to drive me to the premiere, I'd take the ride and I'd leave. I don't want to support the man. He's not worth my time, my money, my thoughts, my feelings, anything. The guy is a pariah. If you don't know what a pariah is, look it up. But he is a pariah. He is this social fucking leech. He just ruins everything he's attached to. He can smile and he can have that weird voice and change the spelling of his name to come off as an artist, but he's not worth my time. And I know a lot of people dislike him too. So forget him. Forget him. He couldn't do anything. He is not an actor's director, but neither was George Lucas. But he had really good actors who were engaged. Daisy Ridley just does what she's told. She exists, beep, boop. She's a fucking robot. Harrison Ford, you can write this shit, George, but you can't say it. That's why those movies felt organic and natural and work 40 years later, and fucking not even in 40 days after The Last Jedi came out, it didn't work. I'm into film. Thank you very much for your super chat. Go see Rampant, a Korean violent zombie movie. All right, well, let me take a screenshot of that because I will check that out. I will definitely check that out. Nick and I will get together in March for Horror Hound, and we'll watch that. Maybe, we'll find copies and we'll watch it. By the way, folks, if anyone wants to meet us before Star Wars Celebration, if you're in the Midwest, World Class Bullshitters will be at Horror Hound, Cincinnati, March 15th through the 18th or something. I'll give you the exact dates, but it's a weekend in March. If you can make it, come down, hang out. A lot of people had fun last time, so I'm sure a lot of people will come and hang out this time. And if you want to hang out but you can't afford to get into the show, just contact us. We'll have a meet and greet outside of the show. We'll have dinner. We'll hang out. We'll find a time to make something work. So just let me know what you guys want to do. So we have covered that. Now, where are we? It's a good day. Like I said, I'm really pumped to be here. I feel like John Cena when I say that, but you can't see me. Shit. I'm just a voice. I'm just here. Maybe I am John Cena. If only I had his money. Got a better hairline, though. Beamer, thank you very much for your super chat. Forget episode 9. I'm waiting for Stealing Solo. Oh, Beamer, you make me so happy when you say stuff like that. You guys will get Stealing Solo in February, as promised. I'm working on it, not as we speak, because I'm performing this show. I can't really talk when I draw. That's why sometimes I don't do drawing streams either, because it would just be silence. And sometimes I contemplate lines and shapes and stuff. And I don't necessarily want to be watched because I feel like I have to perform. This is a performance art, radio broadcast, whatever I may be to you, an entertainment show to help you get through your day in the morning. Whatever I may be to you, there's a performance to it. Art, to me, that kind of art is not a performance. I like the solitude, the quiet. Actually, I'm listening to a really good book. But Stealing Solo, it's coming along, and you guys are going to get that, and I'm excited to do more comics. I hope that everybody that bought this book, 3 times that amount of people go get in the next book, and then 3 times after that. I want to be my own comic book company. Yes, I'm involved with Ethan and all those guys, and they're all great, talented artists, which I will always be thankful for, that they let me into their group and really helped promote me and made me one of their own. But I will always produce stories that I find entertaining and fun. And I hope everyone follows me through, the end of time, because we're always going to do really fun, entertaining stuff. We're not going anywhere. I'd have to die to stop doing content. So thank you. Oh, God. People are quoting John Cena's theme. Yeah, The Rock is better than John Cena. Shit. What a fucking shelf of The Rock. Go watch Rock versus Cena 1. Who do you see in the crowd when The Rock wins? Me. I shit you not. I might pull that up one of these days when we're running out of content. I'll say, who wants to see me at WrestleMania 28? And then early, I'm on a bunch of WrestleManias. Tickets go on sale next week for WrestleMania. In April, before the weekend before Celebration, I'll be in the New York City area. So if somebody wants to go to Cat's Deli for lunch, let me know. Dion and I are going to be there with a couple other of our friends. And come have lunch with us, shoot the shit. We'll talk about whatever. You can tell us some good places to go in the city for pizza. Voorhees 67. Julian, he was useless, annoying, and the humor ruined the tone of the death scene. Should have killed him off instead of the gay kid. Gay kid had a purpose. See, the gay kid got killed off, not because he was the gay kid, but because he was responsible for shooting Dr. Sartan. Had he not shot Dr. Sartan, I don't think Michael Myers would have killed him. But I thought that was cool to show that Michael Myers was a caged animal who needed to escape. And he'll do anything to get his mask and return to Haddonfield on Halloween 40 years later. But here's the thing. I watch movies to be entertained. Julian entertained me. If you don't like him, that's fine. I don't like that little kid from Halloween, or not Halloween, from Friday the 13th Part 7. I didn't like him. He just screamed and squealed. That's why I don't like a lot of these kids in these horror flicks. Because, like, look at Halloween 1, favorite horror film. Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace, what do? They just scream, Boogeyman, Boogeyman, nah. Lonnie Lamb says this. Yeah, at least Julian entertained me. Those kids are just part of the story for, story's sake. That kid, I was entertained. But Voorhees 67, that's fine. We don't have to agree. You listen to Good Morning Pop Culture, that's good enough for me. We can disagree on everything, but there's something that we agree on. So I'm glad it is whatever it is that you're here for. Illumina, thank you very much. What's your opinion about YouTube's new Super Chat policy? Can't wait for Stealing Solo. Again, thank you very much for the Stealing Solo support. Do you mean how YouTube will censor and send off your Super Chats? I don't like that at all. YouTube they already take a big chunk of your money. But, it is their platform, whatever. I'm happy that I can make the money. But now they're going to send off Super Chats because they don't like what you say. See, that's getting too much. Now, and that is why when people say, Jeff, comic book, yeah, that's channel money. That helps keep the channel going. When YouTube has stupid draconian policies that hurts creators, well, then, that's where comic books come from. That's why when we launch the website in a few weeks, there's going to be shirts and stuff to help back the channel. So for those out there, if you're, wondering how YouTube will hurt us, it does. We're down, but I don't want to bitch about it. I just would rather put out a good show where enough people want to come back more and more people means a better product. Well, you know what? That's what's weird. Normally, more and more people doesn't mean a better product. But I will say this, the more and more people that are here, the more excited I personally get. And I'm just, boom, off to the races. Great turnout today. I really stand by this show. If somebody said, show me an episode of Good Morning Pop Culture and we'll give you a deal on Sirius Satellite Radio, I'd send him this one. I've really been enjoying the show. So, Illumina, my opinions are, I don't like when they restrict creators. I don't know what happened with those guys that got their channel taken down. Was it the stream or whatever, Killstream? I don't know that story. I know it happened, but I haven't followed it. Much like a lot of stuff I do that you guys don't know about, it's mainly just for the channel in my off time. My life's not super exciting right now. But, you got to put in your time to make it work. I mean, that's why we've grown. That's why we've done all kinds of great stuff. Yes, Sire J. Longstroke, we're going to Celebration. I already bought tickets. They're sold out. World Class Bullshitters has weekend tickets. So we're not going as like a one-day thing. We have weekend passes because we always go for the best. So we have weekend passes. Jeremy's going to hook us up with somewhere to stay, and we're going to be there the whole weekend. Channel Dad Brian Lape's going. He got invited, and Joel's going to go. So be on the lookout for some fun. I'm glad everyone enjoyed Red Dead Redemption on the PS4. I will play that again. Let's see. What do I got today? I'm taking my grandma to lunch tomorrow, so I got to work extra hard today to get everything done. Got a video for Wednesday and Thursday. Shit. Okay. How about after the Veterans stream on Saturday night, we do some more gaming, Red Dead Redemption. I'll try not to even play it until then so we can pick up where we left off last time. But you guys seem to really enjoy that. I enjoyed it too. So we can do that. And basically I bought Red Dead Redemption because somebody super chatted us enough to buy it. So thank you to all the people who said, here's for Red Dead Redemption. You can do that for Call of Duty. Certain games I'll just buy, like Spider-Man or Smash Brothers or stuff like that. But all I ask is that you guys check it out, and if you like it, awesome, let me know. I appreciate everything that you guys do for us. Oh, okay. You don't like J.J. Abrams staring at you? Well, then I'll stop. There you go. How's that? So let's, yeah. I know people didn't like Halloween 3 because Michael Myers wasn't in it. That's fine. I get it. I like it because it doesn't have Michael Myers in it. If you called it something else, people would have probably been more receptive to it, but I am receptive to it. I like Tom Atkins. I think he's a good actor. I love the twists. I like dark. That movie's almost like a dark sci-fi over a dark horror film. It feels very much like Westworld, or I wouldn't say The Running Man. That's not even the right genre, but it feels like a darker, with the androids, the robots, and all that stuff with the shaman, or was it shaman, celebration of Halloween. Good twist ending. It also has the old man from RoboCop. So if any people out there want to check out Halloween 3, I suggest it. Don't expect a slasher film. It's a very different movie, but for what it is, I think it's well made. It looks great. Great sound too. And if you're really, really curious and you want to spend the money, the Blu-ray set from Shout Factory, it's like $26. Man, that picture quality is excellent. So I suggest that one. If you're going to do something like that, always go for the best. So let's see. We're going to talk about something that a lot of people seem to want me to talk about, and it's the whole Fallout 76 thing. Now, I'm not here to talk about, the gaming thing. I'm here to talk about a bigger problem, because I always talk about the culture war. There's also a war against consumers, and just to hear me out for a moment, let me talk about this, and then I'm going to get into the whole consumerism thing. And I'm not one of those people that thinks that consumerism is bad. I know there are a lot of great social commentaries like They Live and Dawn of the Dead about consumerism. But personally, I think sometimes there's some good to consumerism. First off, the Mareth says, this show is anything but dark. Got a cameo from a shark. 2 guys fighting crime. Hold on. I heard shark and I laughed. This show is anything but dark. Got a cameo from a shark. 2 guys fighting crime, having fun time. Guess right? And he'll sing like a lark. Okay, so let's see. Cameo from a shark. Is it Flash? 2 guys and a cameo from a shark. Is it the Flash? Sing like a lark. Black Canary. Is it Legends of Tomorrow? That's my guess. Is it Legends of Tomorrow, Mareth? Something like that. Oh, yeah, Batman 66. Shit, you got it right, Captain Badruck. Crap, I dropped the ball on that one. Yeah, but wait, was there a shark? Oh yeah, duh. Well, to be fair, the bat repellent shark spray's in the movie, so that's why it threw me off. Voorhees 67, thank you very much. Halloween is greater than Halloween is greater than Halloween. Crying face. That's one of the only times where 3 movies in a franchise have the exact same title. Adam West Batman, says Mareth. Thank you very much, Mareth. I'm sorry, I dropped the ball on that one. It was a good one too. When you said cameo from a shark, I honestly went to Legends of Tomorrow or whatever that is, the Flash, because I know they fight like a king shark guy, and I was like, man, is that it? Fuck, I missed it. So not real quick, our next segment I wanted to talk about is Fallout 76. I know we have a couple listeners who asked me about video games a lot. Clearly, I did some gaming this weekend. Not going to change the channel direction, but I just, we are an entertainment thing. And in this ever-expanding digital landscape that is called entertainment, well, gaming's a huge part of it. But Fallout 76 has had a lot of problems. They're talking about the beta was a mistake. There were problems with the beta that would erase itself, so they had to give you an extra day and all sorts of things. But this was interesting because Forbes had an article that talked about the video game engine. And it says basically how they've used the same engine for such a long period of time that the game's become dated and a joke. The broken mechanics aren't funny. They're not charming anymore. They just are a problem. Kivithar 1138. I have not heard. Did you hear about Blizzard's Diablo fiasco? What the fuck is a fiasco? Diablo fiasco. I have not heard about that. I will check that out in a moment, actually. You know what? We'll use that as a continuation into the next point. But I wanted to say this, and it was funny we got to bring it up earlier with the Nintendo talk. Fallout, much like a lot of these other Western developers, they use the same limited amount of resources by choice to produce all this content. And while it is fun for a while for your game to break or fall apart, it looks like Fallout is going to have a big problem. Now, I'm pretty sure that Fallout is not a yearly IP. What is it? Every couple of years. It takes a while to get these Fallout games, which is the right amount of time. I think Zelda does it right. So we had, what? Skyward Sword in 2009, 8? No, wait. It was 11. But it took like 4 or 5 years, almost 6 years to get Breath of the Wild. I think the amount of time between each game makes you want to play more, and it gives them time to create a better world. Like Red Dead, there hadn't been a Red Dead Redemption. Well, that was 2011, 7 years. There won't be another Grand Theft Auto till probably 2020. So these 7-year gaps, you play these games, they constantly update them, they make them better, and then you get the new one, and you're really off to the races, and you're having a lot of fun. I give all the respect in the world to Rockstar for giving you an experience that's fully formed. None of this half-witted bullshit, this half you pay for a game up front, you only get half of a game, you got to buy the DLC. Star Wars Battlefront was a fiasco, which I also talk about in the video coming up soon. So many corners are cut with today's video games that it's a problem. Corners are cut from all sorts of things, and as consumers we get screwed over. That's why I always harp on the look for quality, because there is quality out there, folks. Don't say all is lost, all shows suck, all games, all movies, all toys, everything sucks. No, there is quality out there. This isn't a plug for anything like Stealing Solo. I wish it was. This is a perfect plug, but the campaign's over. But there are good things out there in the world to consume. If you want to consume entertainment, you know, you can go pick up some of the older stuff, but there is newer, smaller things to consume that are better than the big things that have all the big budgets behind them. I mean, is anyone going to play Battlefield 5 or whatever the new one is? They screwed the pooch on that one. Does anyone even talk about that? We got Call of Duty coming out. There's all kinds of stuff coming out that's going to revolutionize, or at least not revolutionize, but capture the imagination of people out there. But there are smaller games like Broforce. I'm going to stream that one night. Broforce is a video game where you can take Walker, Texas Ranger, Rambo, all the versions of James Bond, the Predator, Neo from the Matrix, Blade, put them in an action game and you fight crime. Stupid, crazy shit like that is a lot of fun. It really captures the imagination. Laziness like this is representative of a bigger problem, and it pisses me off. It pisses me off. I'm so mad that this is a thing, because Fallout, all these games used to be synonymous with quality entertainment. But now it's not the case anymore. You get all this basic, and I do mean basic in the most pejorative way, basic bullshit, and it hurts everybody. You don't want to ever piss off your most loyal consumer fan base, because they will have your back all the time. You know, you can call them here the notification squad or the patrons or whatever, but the people that are really, really dedicated. Yeah, you want to appeal to everybody, but you never want to piss off those people, because those people are emotionally invested, and you don't want to cut somebody in the wrong way, because they'll never come back. Yeah, you could put out a bunch of crap for a while, but then you come back and people are like all excited and happy. But if you cut somebody and you hit them in the core, they won't return, because they'll always remember the sting of that. So let's see, Diablo on, is that what happened? Not Diablo Cody. So what did you guys want me to check out? I don't want to. I actually searched something in Spanish. Shit. Blizzard's Diablo fiasco. Let's see. So what's going on with Blizzard Diablo in the news? Diablo 2 producer Blizzard doesn't understand gamers anymore. It's a mobile game. Okay, we'll go to Bleeding Cool, I guess, because it seems like that seems to be the most. Let's learn about something together, folks. This is a community. Let's learn about this fiasco together. So you, Evie, you mean Elliot Hernandez drew a picture? Elliot Hernandez, I bought a sketchbook. He's the first Comicsgate person that I got their project in the mail already. So let's see. Speaking of BlizzCon, Blizzard co-founder Alan Aldham has stated he expected there to be a backlash about Diablo's Immortals reveal, not quite to this degree. Diablo Immortal had a rough start to life. The game closed the BlizzCon keynote presentation, and since then, all hell's, pun intended, broken loose. From angry hashtags to even boos at the game's panel, it's clear that the core Blizzard audience isn't in love with the new mobile game. Many were hoping for a Diablo game. A mobile game is a big departure from what fans expected. Didn't come as a surprise to Blizzard. Speaking to Kotaku, fuck Kotaku. We know our audience here is passionately PC and console focused. We've also seen this before. We saw a similar response to when we announced that we were bringing Diablo to console, and we saw a similar response to the announcement of Hearthstone. That being said, we knew our audience here desperately wants to see and hear about one thing in particular. We can assume he means Diablo 4. I know this. No, I know our community there. There's a concern for what we were focused on instead of that. The truth is that we have multiple Diablo teams working on multiple unannounced Diablo projects, even after the announcing of Immortal. Oh, that's it? They're just pissed off because of they're not getting the game they want? Oh, I thought somebody said something stupid like they did over the Battlefield 5 thing. I thought that was the case. Dim Rig says, watch the Geeks and Gamers video, Jeff. I can't watch Geeks and Gamers video. Actually, I like Jeremy. I just don't watch anybody's videos right now. Even my favorite YouTubers, I'm behind on. I'm behind on retro blasting. That's saying something. Usually, when those videos hit, I watch them. But I'm just bogged down right now. GMPC presents Learning with Jeff. Yes, Learning with Jeff. I like learning. I hope everybody else likes to learn too. I'm sure we've learned a lot of stuff this morning. We've learned a lot about ourselves this morning. It's really been a fun, fantastic show. And guess what? There's still time to do more. Now, I could see why people are pissed or excited about this game. I mean, I have a new mobile phone. I could play this game. I don't have a gaming PC, so this opens it up to me. But I'm not a Diablo fan, so I'm not going to buy this game no matter what. Maybe you should always, I know I use this analogy a lot, but it's old and it works, but you should know where your bread is buttered, and you should go back to that. I hate to say this, but there are people that will constantly buy the same shit over and over again because they love it. And there's nothing wrong with giving the people what they want. You know, Arnold says, give those people air. I say give the people what they want, and they'll come back. Yeah, you always want to entice new people, but if you can create a community around something cool and people keep coming back, then new people want to get involved. See, people want to be a part of something always. YouTube community, Facebook community, something. If you can get people that thing they need, that desire, that basic part, was it Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Maybe it's not self-actualization. I don't know it off the top of my head. But if you can give those people that basic community that they're a part of and that desire they want to get a part of something cooler and newer, well, then you're hooked. You're good. You're hooked. So maybe you find a happy medium. You make it accessible to a degree, but you also keep those people around. And I have never seen this. Maybe it's stupid, but why not ever promote something that's a little older that's still going strong? You know, remember all the old World of Warcraft commercials? I'm sure millions of people still play that. Pump out $100,000 commercial, like, hey, remember World of Warcraft? It's still going strong. 20 million people join the biggest online community. Something stupid like that. Put it in front of a movie. People will see it. People will check it out. Oh, 20 million other people are doing it. I want to get involved. Why not? Voorhees67, thank you very much. LeBron may produce a Friday the 13th film. Now it's personal. Now, I have a question for you, Voorhees67. I've heard this news. Is it because... Do you think LeBron James is putting his name on it because he's LeBron James and he's just going to have other people do more producing? Or do you think he'll actually be hands-on? I'm guessing that it's more like, ever seen Rocky 2? How they were trying to do all those sponsorship deals and stuff. It's more of like a producer in name only. So Pino. There's Lino, there's Pino. Producer in name only. I don't think LeBron James will have an actual hand in the creative aspect. I think his name will be associated with it for visibility, because LeBron James is one of the biggest stars in the world. I don't even like basketball. I've never seen him play an entire game, but I know he's good, and I know that in the one NBA game I have, NBA 2K16, which was free on the PlayStation Network, that he is on my fake dream team because he's good, he's got high stats, and people know him. So maybe LeBron James is just involved in name only. I don't think of him as I've never heard him speak, honestly. I've been places like sports bars and the gym and stuff where he's talking, but there's the subtitles on or the captions. So I've never even heard the dude's voice. But maybe he likes Friday the 13th and he's the right choice. Some people would argue Danny McBride was the right choice for this new Halloween. I would not. So going by that, LeBron James, question mark, ... We'll wait and see. But there are some stinkers of Friday the 13th film. So it's going to be better than Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell. I'm not too worried. The bar is pretty low for Friday the 13th. The reason I like the Platinum Dunes remake is because I took 2 girls to go to the movie. It was fun. Other than that movie's shit. That's all I can say. Tim Riggs, thank you very much. It's more than what you read. They're pissed off at a con. They said some really stupid shit during a Q&A, and they're removing downvotes from the YouTube trailer, etc. Oh, shit. Okay. Now, Tim Riggs, now that I know it's that kind of seriousness, I'm a little more invested. But I'm going to have to check it out. I will watch Jeremy's video, but I will say this. Controlling the narrative seems good from their standpoint, but in the internet age where nobody forgets and everything is remembered, you might not want to do stupid shit like this, especially with the internet fan base. Any kind of fan base where a majority of your consumers or users are very tech savvy, or at least at the most basic sense know how to use the internet, that is the wrong fan base to piss off. You can piss off, like, okay, if, for example, there are millions of sports fans who aren't present online. That kind of controversy gets in the news, but it doesn't really create too many problems outside of talking points on TV. When you get into shit like that's online heavy, people get more involved and do shit. So like the whole Shia LaBeouf thing with the flag, that's an online thing, and people found the flag and went out and did shit. Gaming is not the community to piss on. Comic books are not the community to piss on. But instead of that, like, gamers will go out of their way and they'll bring attention to stuff, they'll mod stuff, they'll do stuff like that. Comic book people will just make their own comics to make fun of the situation. But just don't attack any, for just to the companies listening, because we've actually had a couple people, which is weird, reach out recently to want to do like sponsorship deals, some VPN group, somebody else, and something else. We had a bunch of, well, 4 is a bunch for us as of late, but I've had 4 companies come out of their way to try to talk to us to become sponsored things, and I don't not ever care, but at the same time, how much of the content do they control? I got you guys out there. You guys keep this channel alive, very alive. So I figure, what the hell? Let's just do it this way. But for the companies out there listening, never attack a fan base who has a strong online presence, because it'll never end well. Not only will they not buy your games and you'll fail, the tweets and all this other shit will happen. See, that's when tweets, the NPC people that want to tweet about how Star Wars needs to be this, that, and the other in entertainment, they're not going to go put their money where their mouth is. These gamers will. They'll go out. They're the dedicated ones, and they will, there could be DDoS attacks. There could be all these other things out there. So just respect the gaming community, because it's not really one you want to get angry at you. Okay, so Mr. V, thank you very much for your super chat. Morning, Mr. Pig Kicker. I just started playing too. Is that my new name, Mr. Pig Kicker? I feel guilty. I lost seconds of sleep over that. So for those wondering what that means, I played Red Dead. I was having a great time. I accidentally kicked a pig. It went, oh, and I laughed, and that was it. Don't worry about the guy whose head I accidentally shot off, or the, the lady I punched in the face, any of that stuff. Don't worry. It's that damn pig that I kicked. Now, by that same regards, everyone told me to hurt the dog. I would not hurt a dog ever, even a digital dog. Everybody likes dogs and babies. Those are the 2 things that, no matter how cold or cruel of a person you are, you see a baby, you see a dog, you're just like, oh, I have to pet it or hug it or whatever you do in those situations. But yeah, thanks, Mr. V. I'm known now as Mr. Pig Kicker. Thanks. Mr. Muff Daddy, all these names, I will answer them. Jeremy may have 1,004 personalities, but I'm a man of 1,004 names, and I answer to all of them. So, Jeff the Baconator. I do like Baconators. They're not good for my heart anywhere, really. They don't serve any healthy purposes, but a Baconator, we used to have this thing. So, let me just give me your ears for a moment. Yesterday on Facebook, your history pops up. Well, one of the first posts that says 10 years ago popped up, and I was like, oh my God, it's been 10 years since I've been really active on Facebook. So much of my life is on there, which is cool, because it does give me a digital stamp of everything I've ever done that I publicly shared. And I thought to myself, man, 10 years. It was not to get political, but it was the night Obama got elected. It was election night. I remember that because we went out to hang out. Everyone was out. We voted and everybody did your own thing on the day. You could vote on campus. But a group of us went out to get ice cream and hang out. And we were like hanging out in this like big fielded area on campus. And this dude was jumping over trash cans and stuff. But I was thinking, how time goes by so fast. And now I'm at a point where, a decade ago, I remember shit vividly. I have a really good memory for that kind of stuff. But the reason your comment sparked this, because 10 years ago I was hanging out with Dustin and Dion. I would hang out with them more regularly than I do now, which is weird though. Even though I live farther from Dion, I talk to him more. He used to live downstairs. We would see each other every once in a while. But Dustin and I would go get this thing called a Dustin combo. It was, those giant plastic cups that Wendy's has? It was one of those, and that was a Frosty, and then a triple Baconator. It was not good for me, ever. Well, I remember we would get those every once in a while. It's like, you want to go get a Dustin combo? I'd say, yeah, let's go get a Dustin combo. My God, I would puke midway. All that sugar, I don't even eat like that anymore. But back then I did. And I do love Baconators. Folks, if we could hit the like button, we've had a really great turnout today. We were at one point over 400 listeners. We're still at 376, which is nothing to scoff at. So we're kicking ass. If we could get a thumbs up from everybody out there. A thumbs up equals a prayer and a like for, I don't know, Jeremy Osteen. So let's hit that and give him a wall, man. Thank you. Maestro of Muff. My original name, Oreo Eater. That's dirty. I like all that. World Class Bullshitters, a room of 1,000 muffs. I can dream. 1,000 of them, huh? Did I ever play Red Dead Revolver for the PS2? Yeah, a long time ago. That was the same year as San Andreas, which is a game. I played that for 10 minutes yesterday just for the hell of it. San Andreas is the shit. But yes, I played Red Dead Revolver. It's weird. I'm not a guy that will talk about how I like Westerns, but the older I get, the more I like Westerns. I don't get it. It's weird. The stuff a lot of people grew up watching with their dads. Again, my dad died when I was 6 weeks old, so I didn't grow up with anything like that. But it's bizarre how a lot of the shit that I did watch growing up as a kid was stuff he liked before I was ever born. My mom's like, how do you like this? I go, I don't know. I just like that. She's like, yeah, we saw this in theaters. We did this. We did that. So there's this weird, odd connection of me watching stuff that my dad liked, even though I never knew the dude. But long story short, the older I get, the more I'm liking Westerns. I sat through the Dollars trilogy about a year ago and was blown away. And now I listen to the soundtracks, and hell, even the Red Dead Redemption soundtrack, the original one, I listen to a lot. It's just something about getting older and me and Westerns. So I'm not going to turn this into a Western channel, but we could do a Western watch along one of these days. Just throwing that out there. We are the epitome of pop culture. And while Westerns at one point were the biggest thing in entertainment, and they've died down to where there's barely any, a game like Red Dead really does bring out those fans. And it instills some new fandom in me. Maybe we'll watch Unforgiven. I've never seen that movie. I've never played Red Dead Redemption 1, one of my biggest life regrets. Well, there's always time to play Red Dead Redemption. Jeff the Ripper, when will we see him again? Oh, you mean on Grand Theft Auto? We can do that. I love Grand Theft Auto so much. I keep saying it, but I mean it. I had so much fun with everyone watching me play GTA. It was, for those out there who don't know what I'm talking about, I dressed up as a butcher. I had like the hairnet and all this stuff on, and I went out and I just blew people up. It was great. People were dying laughing. I was dying laughing. That stream is still on the channel. So I don't know if I'm going to keep every game stream on here, because look at, I always tell you guys how honest I am. Leaving up a lot of live streams hurts the other videos in terms of searchability in the Google YouTube index. And I don't want the channel to die, but there are so many people who follow everything we do here on the channel, and I don't want to penalize you guys for Google. So if we do stuff live, you catch it, it's there, we'll do it, and then it has to go away for a little bit, but we can archive it and bring it back later down the road. But yes, Jeff the Ripper can make a return. Observer Dude, thank you very much for your super chat. Do you like steamed hams? That's what I call hamburgers. All right, Principal Skinner. To take your super chat serious for a moment, there's a place up north that has steamed cheeseburgers. They've been on Man vs. Food. I would like to try them. That's all I can say is I would love to try the steamed cheeseburgers / hamburgers. Beamer, thank you very much for your super chat. Write a Western comic book. I have thought about that. You see, I thought about writing a Western comic, a fantasy comic, but maybe I'll do a Western fantasy. Who knows? But the one story I'm really dying to tell. See, Stealing Solo it came as a joke. I'm invested. We're in the story. It's a little different. That story is so natural to me. That's why it's coming together so quickly, because basically, do I think, what would the characters do? Well, what would my real life friends do? This is what we do. Oh, I have to draw it, and boom, there we go. We're good. Drawing's fun for me. I love it. With a story like that, it would be fun. It would be fantasy. It would take me some time to write it, but I want to do something that my dream story right now, next to tell after Stealing Solo, is, you guys know how Batman the Animated Series takes 40s technology and the aesthetic, but it also has some modern technology like computers and TVs and stuff like that. I want to do something that's like a 60s aesthetic in terms of clothing and hairstyles and the ladies and the way they dress and stuff like that, but also have like weird, like not noir, but like a weird neo-futuristic setting. I don't know how to describe it, but basically I want it to be like, it looks like Johnny Quest. It plays like a James Bond movie, and the world's in peril. That's kind of what I'm feeling next. I'll create my own characters and go that route, and I'll talk about that, and I'll promote it to high heaven. But there are more comic books coming. If I can, even Stealing Solo was a huge success. Even if it's just that forever, do 2 or 3 of those a year. Who can complain? Life is great. And I love to draw, and you guys are awesome, and we're having a good time with it. And down the road, I want to do, I'll tell you guys later. Those who backed it may get an extra surprise. So we'll talk about that later down the road. Unpopular opinion, Tarantino is a hack. Not that unpopular. Don't ask Dion about Quentin Tarantino, because he'll go into a whole racist thing. Tarantino, for me, I like a couple movies. I love Pulp Fiction. Reservoir Dogs is good. I loved Django. I thought that was good. Hateful Eight, not bad, not great. It was good enough. But I don't really like his movies overall. I hate Kill Bill 1 and 2. I hate Inglourious Bastards. Jackie Brown's okay. I like Pam Grier a lot for obvious reasons. But you calling Tarantino a hack doesn't offend me. Actually, I don't really get offended in the names of my favorite directors. I mean, you can shit on John Landis all day, but I know that he made Coming to America. You'd say, Jeff, he made Beverly Hills Cop 4, but he also made The Blues Brothers. So I can I can stand behind John Landis's work. I can stand behind any director I like. I would call Kevin Smith a hack over the last 15 years, but, well, not 15. That's too harsh. 10. But still, his older work still stands up. And I like that. I like some of his older stuff, and I'll back that. Now, Dusk Till Dawn is not Tarantino, unless you count him just being in the movie, because isn't that Robert Rodriguez? Sounds like a serious version of Archer. Yeah, to a degree, but it wouldn't be funny. I like Archer quite a bit. I've actually looked into how to draw like Archer, not because I want to draw like the show, but because I like the thick black lines. I like a certain style of comic book. I go look up a guy named Alex Toth. Those are the types of artists I enjoy, and I enjoy drawing like that. I don't like super sketchy, like Jim Lee has hashtags, cross-hatching in all of his work. I love to look at it and read it. Jim Lee is an awesome artist, one of the best of all time. But by that same accord, I don't like to draw like that. I have my own style, and I take pleasure in drawing a certain way. And I've been looking at my stuff and going, I'm hitting where I want to hit. And the older I get, the closer I'll hit even further and further. And then maybe I'll develop something new down the road, like a good John Romita Jr. style. I evolved into something else. But until then, I'm happy with where I am. And it evolves from that kind of, I've always resonated with a certain animation, clean style. The coloring can add the depth. I would love if I had a digital painter that could go in and do exactly what I'm thinking. But until then, I'm very happy with what I got. I got a great colorist. Beamer, thank you very much for your super chat. I have to ask Dion about Tarantino now. Yes, you do. You definitely do. This Thursday night, Dion will be here on the podcast. I have no clue what we're talking about. The only thing I know about this show is we have our listener of the week lined up, and that's about it. Thank you, Superfan Adam Shawhan. You are the man. I know that rhymed way too much. By the way, folks, give me a second. Let me pull up our P.O. box. For those out there who were wondering, Jeff, did you do the P.O. box? Yes, I did. I talked about it. Friday's show was a little rough because I was super tired. But today's show, you can tell there's been a ton of energy and a great group of fans that have stuck with us. So give me a second. I'm going to pull up the P.O. box for everybody to see it because, we were men of our word. We said we would do something, and we gave it to you guys. So for those out there who want to know what the P.O. box is, give it a second. I have it pinned to our Facebook page. So if you're a member of the Facebook fan page, the private exclusive one that you have to get approved for, well, it's there. It will always be there. But here it is. Open a new tab, blah, blah, blah. And we hope you guys send us something cool and funny and make us laugh. We will definitely be opening those and making videos because that's part of the deal. And we don't alter the deal. We're not Darth Vader. We're also not burned. But this mail truck is on fire. So there you go. There's little illustrations of all the guys right there. And if you have something specific for a bullshitter, you just, say like for Kendo, Nick, or Dion, or whatever. And if it's not named to me or it is named to me, basically it's going to come to me, but I'll give it to them when I see them in person. So if you're just joining us, I'm not saying this is hyperbole. You missed a great show. Also, just giving you guys a heads up, this live stream will go down and be archived on the Good Morning Pop Culture channel because the channel's not monetized properly yet. So for those wondering, no, I'm not trying to play with your emotions, Smokey. All I'm trying to do is get that channel monetized so it can have its own life, its own community, and kick ass in its own way, the best way, the world-class way. So here we go. There's our P.O. box, and I'm going to check it, I guess, every other week. Maybe I'll check it. I don't know. Do I get notifications when something arrives? Whenever something arrives, I'll go pick it up. I picked a mailbox that's not that close to my house, but still, I picked a good mailbox. Man, we're in the final 15 minutes. We might go longer today. I don't know. I'm really feeling it. If something crazy pops up, maybe we will. Archer, though, yes, Archer is a fantastic show that I enjoy the hell out of. I'm a little behind, but I like it. And, even though I shit sometimes on the Danger Zone joke because it's played out. Here's the thing. TV show jokes really, sometimes they're played out, but I still like them. It's when other people I meet constantly quote it. That's when I start to go, we get it, Loudy. You like Archer. But, that's a me problem. That's why sometimes I have to remove myself to appreciate more. Maybe that's why I love King of the Hill so much, because not a lot of people quote King of the Hill. So when I watch it, it's just like it's King of the Hill. It's its own thing. It's not so-and-so's interpretation of King of the Hill. It's just, oh yeah, Peggy Hill type of thing. Mirror Jeremy doesn't like the Archer last 2 seasons of Archer. I haven't seen them, so one day I'll watch them and we'll talk about that. Why is there a burning RV in the background? Oh, that is a mail truck, Alphamar. That is what mail trucks look like or looked like. Also, they deliver them in minivans in my neighborhood. Dan Benoit, thank you very much. Long time no hear. The mobile game is just a reskin of an existing game. Oh. Well, I did not know that. So now I can understand why people are even more angry. I don't like a lack of originality, and I don't like when you shit on your core fan base. Remember where they eat, guys. I didn't drop the link. For what? What link didn't I drop? For the Good Morning Pop Culture channel? I can drop it. It's in the description. For those wondering, the Good Morning Pop Culture channel link is in the description, as well as our Lunatic Fringe, not Lunatic Fringe, sorry, that's the local radio station. Our Lunatic City series by our friend T. Allen Diaz, as well as Yakov Merkin's Galaxy Ascendant. So if you guys could check those out to support some some independent artists, writers, if you will, good stuff. And our friend Damaj and I recently launched his own channel. Now, he didn't ask for me to say anything. He didn't even mention it. He just tagged us in a post that says, hey, I started my own channel, and he made a video. And I just thought that was awesome that one of our listeners has gone and created their own content on YouTube, and it's good stuff. So if you guys are out there and you're ever inspired by us, create your own channel. I subscribe to the listeners out there that have gone out of their way to make their own stuff. The Rookie Critic I'm a subscriber to the Rookie Critic. I'm a subscriber to Black Angus Reviews, Jeff the Iron Wolf, all those guys that go out of their way to make their own content because they like what we do. Well, I find that really cool and really awesome. And, I want to back you guys. So make your own stuff. Go out of your way. Maybe we'll even do a stream where you guys can come promote your stuff and you can talk about whatever you'd like. I do like those streams quite a bit. Observer Dude, thank you very much for your super chat. If episode 2 and 3 had been great Star Wars movies, how do you think people would view Phantom Menace? The bad one or underrated? I think disappointing is a good word to describe episode 1, Observer Dude, but I don't think terrible would be. Maybe they would call that one the bad one. I know I consider this is controversial, but The Dark Knight Rises, I would consider that the bad one of the trilogy, but it's not a bad movie, if that makes sense. When you can, comparatively speaking, like Return of the Jedi is the bad one of the original Star Wars, but it's not really a bad movie. It's just not as good as the other two. But it is weird how episode 1, I think I give that a 5. Episode 2 is like a 3 or a 4. Well, no, because that's honestly veering into episodes 7 and 8 territory. Let's do a 6, a 5, and a 7.5 for episode 3 to round it out. But yeah, that's an interesting question. Had they been great, how would you have viewed episode 1? Probably, well, that's not a problem we have nowadays, but probably how we view Return of the Jedi, honestly. Probably is the disappointing one. Now, I don't know too many trilogies that do an about face from terrible to amazing, like right off the bat. Usually they start out great, like Spider-Man. 1 is amazing, 2 is spectacular, and 3 is shitty. And then you have the other ones that are bad. And by the way, Secret Rebel, I don't know if I'll do a Thanksgiving watch along on Thanksgiving Day because I'm busy. It's family day. But we could do a Spider-Man themed stream close to Thanksgiving of the first movie. I would love to do that. I love that movie. It would bring in a whole new group of people that really are passionate about that film. So we could do that. We could do that for sure. But Observer Dude, yes, I'm going to stick with what I said a minute ago. People would treat that like they treat Return of the Jedi. Just not the bad one of that, but comparatively speaking. Some people hate Dark Knight Rises. Some people hate Django Unchained. Please no Dean Ambrose references. Actually, Michael Penarelli, that is not a Dean Ambrose reference because here in Cincinnati, there's a station called WEBN, and it's called the Lunatic Fringe of FM radio. So they got that from Dean Ambrose got that from them. So that's a little piece of insider information from a local. Lunatic Fringe is a Cincinnati WEBN station reference. And Dean Ambrose bars it because he's billed from being from Cincinnati, which he is, but he doesn't live in proper Cincinnati. I do. So, yeah, I'm in a measuring contest with Dean Ambrose. That I hate Spider-Man Homecoming. Hate is a strong word. Disappointment, dislike, yes, but it's better than the amazing movies. So, Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, then Homecoming, then the other two. And I haven't seen Venom. Maybe Venom would be better than the other ones. I don't know. Planes, Trains, and Automobile watch party before Thanksgiving. The other guys would be a real easy sell on that because we all love John Candy. I don't know what it is about John Candy. There's like a warmth that comes from the guy, and we all kind of miss him when you watch his movies. Like I watched The Great Outdoors, I'm thinking to myself, I may not have had a regular family upbringing, but this would have been cool to have a family that, takes you on vacations and do stuff like that. So yeah, I'll talk to the other guys and I'll try to work out a time. That's something I would enjoy having. Hell, maybe, that would make that episode 150. Shit. We'll come up with something. We'll put something, even if it's not live, maybe we have a commentary for it. Just something that you guys could do, enjoy. Is there a proper Cincinnati where proper Jeremy lives? Yes, there is. He has a proper house with a proper car and a proper girlfriend. He's proper. Dabba-dee, dabba-die. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at my own joke. I missed the entire thing. Would you do video game reviews in the future now that you do some game streaming? It's like what you like about it, what you hate about it, how you rate it. Yeah, I could do that all rolled up into a game stream. Like I said, it's all about, seriously, people, what people watch dictates what gets made on the channel. If I did a game review and it got a ton of views and people are like, do more, well, then more are coming. Maybe if there's enough interest, we could get one of those PlayStation classics and review that. Like I said, the possibilities are endless. All you guys got to do is show up for it. And if I see that, then I know you like it. Uncle Buck Watch Party. I like Uncle Buck. It's a great movie. I fucking love Uncle Buck. That might be my favorite John Candy flick. Great Outdoors is good. I like, what was that other one he was in? Summer Rental. It's got Andy from the Goonies, and she listens to Axel F on her headset, and it's not even the real version of Axel F. It's a cheap cover because I guess it's cheaper to remake the song than to actually use the song. That's my goal when we make our movies, to sneak Axelef and Everybody Wants to Rule the World in every movie. You won't even know it. Maybe it'll be like the James Bond theme at the end of License to Kill, where it's played by the bullet sound effect, but you'll find it somehow. Let's see. Cool Runnings, yes, I do. Real Men miss John Candy. I dislike Michael Moore, but I love Canadian bacon. Michael Moore made Canadian bacon? I know in high school we had to watch all of his documentaries that were out. So we watched Bowling for Columbine and I guess Fahrenheit 9/11. You know, when you're younger, your views are different. I was engaged by them back then, especially the Bowling for Columbine one. But I haven't watched those in years. I don't know if they hold up, if they're preachy, if they're heavy-handed. I wouldn't consider myself a Michael Moore fan. The greatest thing he ever did was appear on that episode of Family Guy where they had a dueling fart banjo. That was funny. Other than that, I can't call myself a Michael Moore fan or aficionado. Can that box handle Dion's giant package? Ha ha ha. Actually, folks, I talked to the post office before I purchased the P.O. box. Any size package could be sent to us. They just keep it in the back. So there we go. Bowling for Columbine is propaganda trash. Probably is. Dude, I haven't watched it since 2004. I'm going by basic, feeling memory. I wasn't angered. We also watched Pay It Forward that same year, and I remember thinking that was okay. That's probably pretty shitty too. So I'm just going by what I remember. Let's see. Thoughts on the Final Smash Direct? I was going to buy that game no matter what because I like Super Smash Brothers, and I finally have a Nintendo system that's current. But now I'm excited to play it. If I could stream the game, I would. But I might do a live stream from the midnight release of Super Smash Brothers release. If that's something you guys would like, let me know, and I can go do that. We can have some fun, and we can talk to people. Be glad I didn't have to watch Al Gore's trashy videos for school. Oh, we had to watch An Inconvenient Truth in college. I was a freshman, and we had to watch that. We also learned about the military-industrial complex, and what was that guy's name? He had glasses. Oh, fuck. He had white hair. I can't think of his name. Robert McNamara. We had to learn about him, too. Michigan State was whatever. This was 2008. No, 7 was my first semester of freshman year. God, that was a long time ago. I don't miss that point in my life. The next year was fantastic, though. I didn't read your super chat. Which one, Dan? I'll go back. You mean the mobile skin of an existing game? I did read that. I'll read it again. Dan Vinoy, thank you very much, because I also said I haven't heard from you in a while. I said the mobile game is just a reskin of an existing game. I definitely read that one, Dan, but sorry you didn't hear it, man. But there you go. I read it again for you. And like I said earlier about the reskin of an existing game, that would piss me off even more. I expect originality. Diablo is one of those game franchises that has lore and people have been playing it for 20 plus years. I wouldn't want a reskin Super Mario game. I expect more from Nintendo. I'm sure a lot of people expect more from Diablo. And this is Blizzard Entertainment, so they're the StarCraft and Warcraft people and all that stuff. They expect more. I'd be pissed too. Let's see, where were we at now? Observer Dude. Oh, this comment has been deleted due to white privilege. I was like, wait, what happened? Oh, thank you, Observer Dude. Thank you very much. That was a good laugh to finish out the show. Smash's 3-minute preview story is a better story than The Last Jedi. True. Everything is better than The Last Jedi. We have a joke on the podcast about getting injured. Does your dick still work? Yeah. Okay, then it's good. And here's our new joke on Good Morning Pop Culture. Did it have a story better than The Last Jedi? Yep. Then I'll buy it. I'll take a swig for you, Mirror Jeremy, and all the Jeremys that listen to the show. Let's see. Did you hear Switch might get an update or an upgrade next year? And January 1st, 2019, Disney owns Fox. Oh, that is sad to hear those words. If there's a Switch upgrade, I will not be buying it because my Switch is never played in mobile format. I know this sounds dumb to tell you guys, but my hands are too big for the system, and I get hand cramps trying to touch the little bitty buttons. Just for an example, if you're ever wondering, my thumb is the size of a Joy-Con, so it's really hard for me to play the Joy-Con. So I have the Pro Controller, and I keep it hooked up to a TV. Originally, when I had the Joy-Cons plugged into that little grip, I got like a really bad hand cramp for months. I thought something was wrong with my hands. Here's just from playing Zelda too much. But when I went to the Pro Controller, no problems whatsoever. So any upgrades, as long as the games are going to essentially look the same because it's going to be on the TV, I'm not buying an upgrade. I don't really do upgraded consoles unless my 360 shits the bed like it did last time, and that's what happened. Nothing is worse than The Last Jedi except Tales from the Hood 2. That is the truest statement ever. So, folks, we are at the end of today's Good Morning Pop Culture for November 5th, 2018. Dare I say, one of our best episodes. The one where I ranted was a damn good episode, too. But I had a lot to say. There's a lot to say about the world of entertainment. So when I come back tomorrow morning with more, I hope that there's equally as much for us to talk about in the world of entertainment. So until then, be on the lookout for the video that'll be out in just a little bit, very, very soon, actually. I got to upload that next. And then be on the lookout for all kinds of things coming from world-class bullshitters all the time. Remember, for those listening right now, this stream will go away very, very soon. It will be archived on the official Good Morning Pop Culture channel. So if you happen to be listening, and I apologize in advance, please don't get angry. Just know that it's to help that channel get monetized. So if you could go check out over there, for those who will not be able to catch this later, just go over there and check it out. And I will have a new Boba Fett video in just a few short moments. So thank you to everybody who appreciates world-class bullshitters. I appreciate all of you back. Yes, I am 6'6". I don't know why you deleted that message, but okay. I saw it before it went away. So boom, Observer Dude. Thank you very much. And I'll catch you guys on the other side of midnight.